Enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Ednah Duale is calling on you to stay true to the cause of Mazingira Day to be marked today by engaging in activities that promote a clean environment. In a statement, Duale said Mazingira Day is a crucial opportunity to accelerate environmental protection and raise awareness of the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss and pollution. The day, previously known as Moi Day, was renamed to Maduni Day, then again changed to Mazingira Day after President William Ruto assented to the Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2024 on April 24th. The CS also encouraged Kenyans to mark the day by organizing, attending forums, or getting involved in activities that highlight pollution control and good waste management practices, reducing, reusing, and recycling products at household and commercial levels. Duale will lead the country in marking Mazingira Day at the Nairobi Arboretum starting from 7 a.m. He will be accompanied by Forestry PS Gitonga Mugambi and several other senior government officials. Now, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has suspended travel for senators and members of staff in the Senate outside the country as the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua prepares to defend himself before the House plenary. Kingi also urged the House committees to put on hold activities outside Nairobi from Tuesday to Saturday. He said the directives were meant to ensure that all senators prioritize their participation in the impeachment proceedings without distractions or disruptions. Kingi has also directed the plenary to investigate the charges against Gachagua Wednesday and Thursday next week.
Honorable Senators, as I communicated during the sitting, by way of a message on the resolution of the National Assembly, Article 145(3)(b) of the Constitution, as read together with Article 78(1), provides that the Senate, by resolution, may appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter. The motion having been deemed to be withdrawn, pursuant to Standing Order 71, the proposal for a special committee is defeated. The Senate will therefore proceed the investigation of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, in plenary.
He gets further directed senators to refrain from commenting on the impeachment case in public.
Honorable Senators, it shall constitute gross disorderly conduct within the meaning of Standing Order 122 for a senator to make comments, whether written or spoken, in relation to the conduct of the Deputy President or the impeachment process, which is outside the confines of the impeachment proceedings, as such comments may prejudice the just outcome of this matter.
And Nelson Harvey says President William Ruto can now be impeached after his deputy Rigathi Gachagua was impeached by the National Assembly. Now, despite increasing pressure to oust Ruto, Harvey says the president is still fit to lead the nation and that he should be given time to improve his administration. Now, the lawyer has however pointed out that the removal of Gachagua has exposed the weak structures within the government and that Ruto should clean up his government.
With the inclusion of Raila Amolo Odinga's troops in the government of Dr. William Samoei Ruto is an implosion. And this argument is not one that is informed by the emptiness of my head. Several of ODM MPs in the National Assembly have said, one at a time, we impeach Gachagua first, then we'll impeach Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Meanwhile, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will tomorrow know if the case against his impeachment will be submitted to Chief Justice Martha Koome so that she appoints a panel of judges to hear the matter. Now, Gachagua's lawyer, led by Paul Mwite, told the court that the case raises many constitutional issues as it is the first time involving the dismissal of a vice president in the history of the country.
And take to the voters only one side of the matter, the allegations. Before you give the subject of impeachment the opportunity to state, then you take both the allegations and the answer to the citizens so that they can make an informed decision. I will
What I can do is that I will go and write a ruling.
Yes.
What if you come on Friday morning?
This is Newsroom Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
When you're impeached, you're impeached. When you're sentenced, you're sentenced.
Madam Chief Justice.
Until the sentence is set aside. Ukibeba vitu kwa roho utakufa. If you carry things in your heart, you will die.
The reason for which you went to school and then gathered experience, that reason must be paid for.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
This level.
Shape up or ship out.
Levels don't change.
No. It's about shipping out. You know my business partner here.
Shipping out.
Are we talking about the ship in the bathtub? Or
the ship man.
One of the Talabu used to tell us a story of they were in school and they've been told to write composition about a ship. His classmate raises a hand. Teacher, are you talking about a sheep or a sheep goat?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
You tuned into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen.
so 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It gets over.
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes?
What the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself.
When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to, she's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, siyo siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
3, 2.
Everybody, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Nyeri Latifa, Muga, Madam Du, nimesalamia wote sana.
Tumepokea salamu, asante sana.
Hapa Garissa today the weather is very good, only that baridi inatupeleka mbio sana.
Sasa baridi ni degree ngapi hapo?
Hata sijui lakini madam tunakauka sana.
If you want to follow the money trail, you've got to think like a thief to be able to catch that thief.
A slap from a friend is better than a kiss from an enemy. You remember the kiss of Judas Iscariot?
Yes.
Is the one that imetuweka kwa hii mashida yote na mataabu kwa sababu of that kiss. Yet the slap of Jesus Christ when he slapped those guys and walikuwa wanauza mboga ndani ya kanisa took them to heaven.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state of, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can't run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Waliletea fujo Moi mpaka wakapata cooperation. Wakakuja wakasumbua Kibaki mpaka wakachukua nusu mkate. Wamekuja wakazungusha Uhuru hapo mpaka wakaenda na handshake, program yetu ikapotea. BBI ikaendelea, tukazama, tukaingia kwa madeni. Sasa mimi nimewaambia hii serikali hii, mimi nawaambia hii serikali ni ya mahasla. Hakuna nusu mkate, hakuna handshake, hakuna hiyo borojo.
Jana nimeona wale wazee tulishinda. Ati hiyo mzee akisema ati he'll not be coerced or intimidated to joining our government. Wewe mzee sikia. We have no business within our government. Hatuna haja na hatugojei wewe. We are not looking for you and we have no time. Stop saying that people can force you to come to this government. Forget about being forced or coerced. We are not interested because sisi tuko na kazi ya kufanya.
Kama kuna mtu ako na namba ya William Ruto, arekodi hii video mtumie. Maisha yangu tangu nizaliwe sijawahi kuona mtu muongo, mfisadi, baradhuli, dhabdhabina kama William Samoei Ruto.
Mimi Hassan Joho nikitaka kuongea, mimi I don't even dream of engaging with them. Ati huyu akitaka aje ongee sio na mimi niongee na Ruto nini? Mimi nikamtafute atanipa nini? Wilbaro. I wonder. Nilipeleka Wilbaro mimi la kimtaani la kucheza nalo zamani.
We have a choice to reject over 60% of these names or give President Ruto his skunk. Apart from a few individuals who are not even more than 8, the rest are incompetent, unqualified, have integrity issues, are people who cannot deliver this country from where it is to the next level that we want the country to move in.
A few moments later.
Now forwarded the name of John Mbadi Ngongo to the Ministry of National Treasury and Economic Planning. The Honorable Hassan Ali Joho, Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
Now I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
When you're impeached, you're impeached. When you are sentenced, you are sentenced.
Madam Chief Justice.
Until the sentence is set aside.
Ukibeba vitu kwa roho utakufa. If you carry things in your heart, you will die.
The reason for which you went to school and then gathered experience, that reason must be paid for.
All right.
Oh, okay.
This level.
Shape up or ship out.
Levels don't change.
No. Since I'm not shipping out. You know my business partner here.
Shipping out.
Are we talking about the sheep in the bathtub? Or
the sheep man?
One of Talabu used to tell us a story of they were in school and they'd been told to write composition about a ship. His classmate raised a hand. Teacher, are you talking about a sheep or a sheep goat?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is one of the hottest show that we can ever miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nduthai, nice meeting you. Yeah. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again.
Character is like pregnancy, you cannot hide it. You know, people hiding here and there, you know, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you see. So that is why the attitude that you are showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say. You cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land,
1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
So who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
Windows
sleep inside.
up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry. Hapo.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
Aya, City, do like that.
My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Ameua panya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda. I mean, I don't know. So, what are they saying?
How are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What are they saying?
What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes, my name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of God.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Lydiahs, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If a lion shows you its teeth, it doesn't mean it likes you.
It doesn't mean it likes you. It won't start. A liar calls as witness one who is either dead or far away. Say it in Kiswahili.
Ben low, nin inte, nin there, you markati kadikta. You know this character called liar. He has disturbed people. So when you tell him who are your witnesses, he will take you to a place where it is difficult to verify.
For someone like me who sweats a lot, I cannot survive there. Sweating is biblical. Good. And you must blame it on Adam, not me. Because Adam messed up and he was told, now you fellow you, by the sweat of your brow, thou shalt eat.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
Hapo.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship, and even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Na hii mambo utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Patrick Lodge, Otieno Lumumba. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
CT Muga. Opposite. Ukisikiliza namna hii unasikia opposite.
The Situation Room, Spice. The only way to start your day. This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Yeah, it's Mazingira Day. We are starting a bit late because we were planting trees. It's a good one, isn't it?
Now that's a fantastic one. We plant a few weeds as well. Shrubbery is important. Yes.
Mazingira. I mean, how are we going to mark this day?
And what are you going to weed out if there are no weeds?
Sinti and Anki Doris, how are you?
Very well, thank you, sir.
Hey.
Yes.
Hata mimi niko sawa.
Uko maridadi?
Niko sawa.
Yes.
Muna kichwa kidogo lakini mambo sawa tu.
Bwana kuna weather ambayo
there's something in the air.
saa zingine unasikia shingo bwana imechoka choka.
Yeah.
Then kichwa inauma kutoka nyuma huku. Then your throat is dry and there's a cough that seems to be on its way. No, it's
you guys, you just go to Aga Khan surely.
Sindio?
You want to go to Aga Khan clinic?
Now you have stated something that is very worthwhile.
Yeah. Because all these complaints sijui kichwa inauma na nyuma.
No. Easy complaint. Hapana.
Ni ukweli.
Complaint inaanza hivi. That's complaint.
Okay.
This is just factual.
But you said aki. What's the difference between aki and
There's a massive difference. Aki's ukweli wa mambo ni.
No. But I've given you guys a good deal. I think we will tell our listeners and viewers as we continue. And I know it's near now. I think that's what we picked yesterday. Aga Khan is near now. But anyway, now. Mimi, I'm healthy. I've always told you guys, kula mrenda, spinach, there's many things. The restaurants I know Latiff goes to.
Kula boga kienyeji.
Kula kienyeji.
Why is it that the things that are touted as healthy are foul tasting and not interesting at all?
Because they're natural. No additives, no nothing.
Does natural need to be foul tasting?
First of all, it looks.
Mostly.
Some of it looks just looking. And then
ACT.
Gosh. At the health. Man.
Did you see his expressions, Latiff? You didn't look at City's face, though. He's like,
I could hear it.
You could hear my facial expression.
You could hear his facial expression? Yes. Wow. Ni Mazingira.
Hey. Well, karibuni sana everybody, and we apologize for starting a bit late because it is like that. It's like that, like this, and like that. And so there's no traffic on the road. That's why we are not talking about traffic. We'll talk about traffic maybe at 7:30 like this and see what happens. But we're going to have several conversations today. Just sit tight for those. Amefika. Bob Jage, the activist, is here and he'll be joining us shortly for a conversation. We want to know. So, ati ulichikwa. Ati 32 days. Ati wakakufungia kwa room.
Blindfolded.
Dark, not just room.
Dark.
You know, you can be a room with a view. There's a room with darkness.
And it's small.
Yeah, it's a small room. And it's small. But a war be tied you if you're tall.
You know Bob is tall.
That's yes, ni shida. 6x4. If the 6 is the length of that thing, then you better sleep standing. Hey. Haya, wacha tuende straight kwa mambo basi. City, let's start with the day's proverb. Straight up. That we are going to do. Okay, no. Before we do this, let's say there are people who are online. Let's actually acknowledge that. Is usually a wonderful thing. Don Sapwa says, find it in your heart to forgive me. If one touched a goat, stole a goat, touched a shamba, stoned an office, called you names, yes, forgive. The Mlima Imaguzwa. How are you, City and Eric? Sisi tuko sawa bwana. Mazingira. Extend the greetings. Mwenzetu hapa anaitwa Anki Doris. Yes. Salimio yeye pia. Robin Bogo, good morning. Spice family Mombasa is tuned in. Mike Rolanda is also tuned in. Jimmy Wekesa is good from Munich in Germany. Karo Nyambura, good morning everyone. Nawapenda sana. Anki Doris mwambie Karo nampenda.
Nakupenda pia.
Very good. My prince, not mine. That's his name. My prince, Senate speed suspect, no justice at all. Felix Chihemi, watching live from Kinani Mutungoni at the river. Felix Chihemi, that's where he is. Elvis Kirando, John Mwangi, Mbali, good morning. SpiceFM team invite the duo PLO and Barak here. We need to hear them speak wisdom to the Muppet Bunge. Onganyi Malala, Real Man, Georgia Dimo. King Dav Lubale, of course, is tuned in. Gerald Miano, hats off. Ranson J, Georgia Koth, not my prince, already said, Millie, Elo, and Alan Otieno. All of you, we acknowledge your presence. Asante sana for joining us. Keep it locked. Happy Mazingira Day. City has the proverb. Yes, our proverbs are still from the kingdom of Morocco. Yes. Fill his stomach and he will forget his country. Fill his stomach. And he will forget. His country.
Stomach or stomach?
Stomach.
Tumbo. Okay.
We're going to figure lami, sio?
Which
lama.
Okay, feel his
Tamak. Stomach.
No, City, I got it. I got it. And you will forget his country?
Kabisa?
Hivyo.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Haya, wacha tuangalie mambo ya headlines. What do you have on the Standard, Anki Doris?
Revealed on the national page 2, there'll be more details, but this on the Standard, captivity horrors for man in Kitengela kidnap. Our first guest actually today is making it to the headlines. And YDP is on slippery path with an image there of the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. Defense hurdles. Freshly impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was met with setbacks yesterday after the courts for the umpteenth time and in the face of 24 cases declined to suspend the indictment of the country's second in command, even as the Senate moved at breakneck speed to lay ground for his trial that may seal his political fate. This particular story has taken it to pages 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 respectively. That's quite a number. And so far, we're looking at 67 number of senators expected to vote during the DP's Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment. The magic number is 45 number of senators representing 2/3 of the House who must vote to hit impeachment threshold. And 23 is the number of senators that the DP must marshal to frustrate his impeachment at the Senate. So pretty much all eyes are on the Senate. And of course, there's more details there on the ultimate trial. Court of Justice with the 22 cases seeking to stop his impeachment. DP Gachagua hit a brick wall for now. After the courts ruled it will give direction tomorrow. Kindiki's movement, guys, is there a Kindiki's movement? Now, with all indications showing that DP Gachagua's fate is hanging by a string, will Interior CS Kithure Kindiki be second time lucky? Interesting. And a new deputy president? Following Gachagua's speedy impeachment by members of parliament and the impending Senate action, Kenya could get a new deputy president nominee by Mashujaa Day. Yeah, moving quite fast.
Like that.
But a last one, executive puppet. Impeachment motion against the DP has opened up complexities and behind the scenes nexus between legislature and the executive. I'm wondering who this puppet is. Is it the parliament? I don't know really. But that's pretty much it. De La Mare's death signals end of era in the national page 3. Hopes dim for more new jobs. That is very, very critical. You know, guys, we're talking about harsh economic times. Unemployment still on the high on the business page 23. You'll get more details. And for those who enjoy sports, on the sport page number 40, bring it on, Olunga to Cameroon. There we have it, guys. That is what it is on the front page of the Standard.
So Harambee Stars will be facing Cameroon. Tutachapa.
Sure?
Yeah, see they in morning.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Is it,
so right now they're distracted.
Is that a good... You're not sounding very nice. Is that a nice thing to do, to say?
Well...
To say what?
We are going to beat them because they're in mourning.
Yeah.
Okay, what should we say instead?
We're going to do our best.
No. That is iffy.
Is it?
Yes.
But we're not going to take advantage of their situation to win. We're going to win because we are worth winning.
Well, yes. But also...
Circumstances have to be taken into account.
Yeah.
Surely. Yes.
Tutachapa hawa watu bwana.
Kwa sababu si ni wazee. Hata kama wamon si ni wazee.
Yeah.
You see, the circumstances of the morning are just circumstances. It has nothing to do with the match.
Yeah. Now you're talking. Has nothing to do with the match, right?
Not really. So if they are mourning, see, their dance were mourning.
Siti bana.
Even as
we hapo tuwasamehe tio, you know, you
guys nyinyi sasa
chukueni ball
to goalkeeper hebu piga round lap kidogo wacha wafunge.
Chukueni ball, wacheni wafunge.
Sasa mbona mnani misinterpret?
No, we're representing you.
Okay, let me tell you what's on the headline of the Business Daily today. M-Pesa pay bills to become KRA tax registers by December 25th. Hey, my friend. Mobile money pay bill and till number accounts will be converted into electronic tax registers from the end of December to weed out tax evaders and boost revenue by billions of shillings, a senior economic advisor to President William Ruto has said. Moses Kuria, former cabinet secretary, said there were plans to declare all pay bills from December 25th as virtual electronic tax receipts in a fresh effort to widen the tax base. Kuria was recently tapped as a senior member of the Council of Economic Advisors to the President. His pronouncement indicates that transactions on mobile money payments of traders will be nearly similar to an electronic tax invoice management system, receipt, and a basis for tax computation. The revelation comes as the state races to have the KRA integrate its system with those of mobile phone operators' financial platforms to catch those who don't pay tax on their incomes. So you have a Tiaka pay bill and like this, that as long as you've received money on that pay bill, it is a tax invoice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And therefore, KRA expects that you pay income based on that. I mean, tax based on that income. This one, Moses Kuria is biting a lot. I don't know whether he has his mouth is big enough. He is biting. Then we're talking about Gachagua impeachment. Oh, Gachagua will go home. Oh, Gachagua. Now, there's something that people haven't considered. If he's impeached, does he continue getting the retirement perks of a former deputy president? The headline in the Business Daily: Gachagua risks losing lavish retirement perks if Senate upholds impeachment. Guy. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will give up lavish retirement perks offered to former vice presidents, including a monthly pension equivalent to 80% of his last salary, if his impeachment is upheld by the Senate or the courts. The Retirement Benefits Act provides for withdrawal of the lifetime perks and pay for state officers such as the DP who have acted in willful violation of the Constitution. What? So if he is found to have acted in violation of the Constitution, and that's what the impeachment is all about, then he is not qualified for retirement benefit.
Of course, he didn't retire. He was impeached.
But if he resigns, then it's okay. He can get.
Yeah, because Utoka na uzuri.
This is going to be a tough one, man.
Yeah.
But can you imagine 80%? Now look at, I wonder whether, because one of the former vice presidents is Musalia Mudavadi.
Well, while we're at it, one of the former vice presidents also is Musalia Mudavadi.
Okay.
And then there's another guy called Kalonzo Musyoka.
All right.
All former vice presidents.
There's Moody Awori.
Na wale jamaa ambao walikuwa vice sijui prime minister wao they don't
hao ni kando hiyo ni
so
you know who are getting his former president, former vice president, former prime minister.
Yeah, former prime minister.
Tunafungia hapo deputies.
They were deputies
of the prime minister.
Yes.
And those ones.
Musalia was a deputy prime minister.
Uhuru was a deputy prime minister.
So can you imagine now Uhuru at getting for former president,
triple
former vice president, deputy prime minister,
minister for finance, MP for Gatundu. By the way, just so that you understand, MPs also have perks. Have you forgotten? They have. It's called pension.
But you get for the last one. I think you get for the last thing you held office. For like now,
yeah,
like now Kalonzo rolls around here with 80% of his last pay. As a vice president.
And people who hang out with him think that they're the same.
No, they think they're not in the same.
And his bills are paid for.
By the way, if you look at the perks.
And every 3 years he gets a new car.
Nini, iko ka ofisi, staff.
Naitio.
Yes.
Wakikuja kwa
health, nini.
All those things, Bana, they have.
The reason why we give those leaders those perks is so that our lives can be better.
All right.
When our lives are not better, why then should we give those perks?
Are they okay? They're
because they're expensive perks, man.
Of course, they're expensive perks based on the capacities they serve.
Yes. Because it seems like we'll give those perks. It is irrespective of whatever it is that the citizenry are facing. There's something wrong there. In the Star, Karua. Gachagua deserves due process, not mob lynching. Correct. correct, madam. You ni sawa kabisa. Hata mimi nimekubaliana. Take. ODM says they had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the DP ouster. That one was Parliament, and we respect what Parliament did. That is a statement that is attributed to one of the deputy party chiefs of ODM, a gentleman by the name of Abdul Swamad Nasir.
Interesting.
Okay? ODM, please don't call their name. They are not involved.
Nothing.
It was not a party decision.
Okay.
Skia.
MPs.
Parliamentarians independently
did what they did.
This independence is really plenty in ODM. Because we have two people who are now ministers. They also independently, okay? No, they were told it was independent. ODM allows members of the party to act independently. Okay.
And imagine on the Standard, they're asking if we have an executive's puppet. I don't know.
Executive who?
Puppet.
Okay.
What's the other story?
YouTuber Rwandan by the name of Rashid Hakuzimana. This is a YouTuber in Rwanda. He is a government critic. Ndani 7 years.
7 years.
Aende criticize huko akiwa ndani huko akifikiria
create content.
Let him create content, because creativity. Let me tell you, there's no place where which enables you to create content kama jela. Okay? State extends civil servants medical insurance scheme.
State extends civil servants medical insurance scheme.
Remember they were telling us, no, this thing was unfair.
Yeah.
It was eating too much into the renewal. They have extended it.
Which is which now?
Through who?
Yes, through who?
Ministry of Public Service extended the medical insurance scheme for civil servants. This comes after a section of public sector unions issued a 14-day strike. This concerns were transitioning from NHIF to SHA without a provision of the comprehensive cover, transitioning from NHIF to SHA without the transition of NHIF employees, and increased contributions to 2.7% of gross salary without any improvement benefits. Okay? In a statement, Ministry of Public Service extended the medical insurance scheme up to November 21st, 2024. So wow, wako tu sawa. But the precursor, they said, us 14 days from now, strike. You can't joke with our scheme like this. What do you mean?
Who do you think you are? Anyway.
This is very interesting. Let me just tell you something else about the Star. Star is interesting. Okay? Kenya elected to sit on the UN Human Rights Council. You know, this country is a really lively country. Okay? Clean up. Plant trees on Mazingira Day, Duale tells Kenyans. Okay, Duale, how many trees have you planted? ODM nominates Ketora to replace Mbadi in Parliament. Okay? So, Sawa.
Who?
The gentleman called Ketora.
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 He's called John Ketora. Okay? He's the Orange Democratic Movement and National Youth League president. Skia. He's been told, you replace Mbadi.
All right.
So we assume that after a while, even him, he'll be Minister for Finance.
Akicheza game poa. Depends on vile anaicheza. Akicheza fit. Anaweza panda.
Yes.
Now, in such a case, what happens? So if you're nominated, because you see, was he next on the list? The list of nominees is done before the election. And then you look at, so how many seats did you get as a party? And then how many slots are accorded to you for nomination? So we are assuming that Ketora was next on the list of the ODM nominees.
Is it? Is it? Is that all they look at?
That's what it should be.
This is the topic.
It can't be anything else.
That in this case,
it should not be anything else. Before the election, there's a list that you lodge with the IEBC as a party.
Yeah, that's right.
So that you lock this thing.
You lock and say number 1, number 2, number 3. Now, if you're told you are allocated 5 slots, you take number 1 to number 5. If one of them is not available, you go to 6. Like that. So we are assuming that this Ketora was
next on the
list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So he doesn't need to be revetted by IEBC or anything. It's just automatic.
Yes.
I don't know if the citizens should be okay with that.
By the way, let me just repeat. They have nominated him. Everything that you've said, we have heard. Okay?
Yeah.
Late notwithstanding, we have heard.
We've heard.
Yes. Now, ODM, top leadership, have done what?
Nominated.
Okay. Sasa hiyo ndio habari.
Yeah, bunge straight.
Okay, umesikia?
Nimesikia.
Does anybody have anything else they want to say?
The eyes have it.
Okay, thank you very much.
I saw something here on business, and I don't know if time allows, but hopes for jobs dim as Kenya's economy now faces slowdown. We're there yet again. CBK revises its 2024 outlook from 5.4% to 5.1%, citing slower growth in key sectors. Okay, now economists warn the anticipated slowdown could deepen poverty levels and strain social welfare systems. Kenya's economic outlook has darkened significantly with the Central Bank of Kenya, that is CBK, revising its growth projections to 2024 down to 5.1% from 5.4%. And of course, the governor, Kamau Thuge, yesterday announced the new focus during a press briefing, highlighting a troubling deceleration across key sectors, including construction, though we of course are looking at housing to build off and create jobs. Mining and quarrying. The downward revision reflects the economy's sluggish performance in the second quarter of the year, primarily due to contractions in key sectors like construction and mining. Mina shanga.
Mbona?
Shanga.
Things are looking
thousands of jobs that were created.
Yes.
Zingine endeni ngambo, kuna opportunities mingi. You actually begged to.
The opportunities haven't gone anywhere.
What's going on?
The jobs are still there.
The salary, the money, what's happening?
It's just that they're not enough.
There are very many people.
Very many people?
For the jobs, yes. There are more people than there are jobs.
So why are you exporting? Okay. There are more
exporting
people.
Is part of the process of giving people jobs.
Reducing the number of people
who don't have jobs.
So we have very many people who are qualified.
Yes.
We've not created those jobs back at home.
Yeah. No, we have, but the jobs we create at home are not enough. So what we're doing, we're looking for other places where these people who have qualifications can go and ply their trade.
Then how do we build this economy that is slowly deteriorating?
Well, what we do, there's something called remittance. Remittance helps.
From the diaspora?
Yeah.
It really does help?
Oh, tremendously. It's our biggest export. In terms of what we earn from the diaspora, it's bigger than anything else that we do.
So you are for this? That people would... That we export labor?
Yes.
Okay.
Me too. If you didn't have a job, you Wankidoris today, and you're told, the government is working on improving this economy so that it can absorb you. Tomorrow you don't have a job. The government is absorbing you. You see, absorbing you is not going to happen tomorrow. What do you need?
A job.
I need a job. I need to put food on the table.
And then you're told, there's this other country.
And there's a job available.
And the name begins with a W. So now you're told you can go there.
What you guys don't get is that the president spoke of housing, the housing project.
Yes.
And so far, they said it was doing very, very well. And for the construction, which is now one of the areas that's suffering, why is there so much irony? Unless I am not living in this country,
there are more
should have been better.
Yes, it's good, but there are more people than there are jobs.
No,
that's not going to happen.
So the housing sector, that's one thing that, yes, and it's a valid issue that you're raising. The entire housing program and project, has it been rolled out nicely and properly? Remember, there were very many questions about how this is going to be rolled out. It's not just about building houses. Because you build houses and you finish this project in 6 months' time, the people who are employed there, where do they move to after the 6 months?
Okay.
Because they are working there. People who are building houses in Wote are not going to be transferred to go and build houses.
They're not permanent jobs, by the way.
And it's one project. This is just one project. So you need a lot more to be able to absorb a lot more people. And one of the good things that's also happening in that, just writing off of that story, there's something where we talk about people who are skilled but not educated. So they've become mechanical, they've become plumber, they've become painter, they've become electrician, they've become all these things. but they haven't gone to school. Now, there's a policy that was passed and it's now in operation called the recognition of prior learning. Kenya is making strides in empowering individuals with informal and non-formal skills through the recognition of prior learning. The program designed to formally recognize and validate skills. So far, 650 practitioners have been trained and certified, stationed at colleges for the transformative process. The chairperson of the Kenya National Qualification Authority, Stanley Kiptis, announced that since March, over 2,500 candidates have been assessed and certified through the RPL process. So people who are skilled but didn't have certification, 2,500 of them now have certificates.
Right.
It means that now they can even apply formally for jobs, and even the ones that are coming up outside of this market of ours, they can apply for those. They are now eligible for employment and ready for further knowledge acquisition along the skills pathway. They have also been registered in the Kenya National Qualification Database as credible qualifications. He spoke while closing the Africa Continental Qualification Framework Forum in Nairobi. I support this recognition of prior learning because you're basically saying that this person who for some reason did not end up going into a TVET to study this, but they started working as an apprentice and then they honed their skills. You recognize that skill and you give them a certain grade and say, now you can go to a college and further that skill. You study the certificate, you can rise from that certificate.
The government had something called trade tests, and you could move from grade 1 to up to 3. It was a practical process. So as you said, you could start as a fitter mechanic, spanner boy, and you could move up slowly to the point where you actually become a master mechanic, somebody who actually understands and is recognized. But this is now just one step further, so that you are not left out simply because you don't have a piece of paper that acknowledges the skills that you've acquired. Yes, it is a wonderful thing. This recognition of prior learning, very, very good thing.
It's a big thing.
Huge thing.
It's a good thing. It's a really a good thing.
I think it's a beautiful thing to make something happen with your hands.
There's a gentleman who passed on just the other day. He's called Lord Hugh George Cholmondeley. The death of Hugh George Cholmondeley, the 5th Baron Delamere, marks a significant turning point from a prominent British settler family, one that played a pivotal role in shaping Kenya into the country it is today. According to a family statement, George passed away on Monday at the expansive Soisambu Ranch, located on the outskirts of Nakuru, following an illness. He took over Soisambu in 1979 after the death of his father, Hugh. He was named after his grandfather, Hugh, who famously walked more than 1,000 kilometers from Berbera in Somaliland and eventually settled in Naivasha. That grandfather, Hugh, is a guy that was called what?
Hugh.
No.
Sorry.
Delamere.
It's called Delamere.
Yeah. So grandfather Hugh, who walked 1,000 kilometers from Berbera in Somaliland and settled in Naivasha. The ranch gained national attention 15 years ago when George's son, Tom, who is now deceased, was involved in 2 separate shooting incidents that resulted in the deaths of 2 young men. Remember that story?
I remember it very, very well.
When Tom shot someone.
One was a game warden, a KWS warden. Another one was a mason who was said to have been a poacher.
Yes.
And one of the things that is also mentioned in that story was that he himself was an honorary warden. Yes, because Tom, because that's why Sambu Ranch has a lot. Is like a conservancy.
Yes,
it has a lot of wildlife.
Many wild animals.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that was quite funny about this name is written Cholmondeley.
Can it pronounce?
Chomley.
Yes. Now, if you look at Tom's mother's name, her maiden name, her father was a governor of this particular country of ours in those colonial days. The name there, very Meniko, we know something or the other. Willow Gobley.
Let me look for it. Where is it?
I'm sure it's...
Yeah.
But the
Lady Anne Renison Delamere, also known as Willoughby.
Yes, Willow Gobley.
Willoughby Teen.
That's how it's written. But I'm just pronounced Willoughby.
Willoughby Teen. The daughter of Sir Patrick Muir Renison, who served as Kenya's colonial governor from 1959 to 62. Lady Anne passed away on June 1st this year at the family home in Soisambu. The couple, married since 1964, had one son, Cholmondeley.
Others known as Chomley.
When this case went to court and this guy was arrested, for like a week or more, we'd go and read the news and say, Tom Cholmondeley. the great grandson
And you
of
brought in that-
Lord Delamere.
Yeah, yes.
And you even twang it.
Yeah, you twang it. It's like actual modeling.
Until one time, we're watching the news, and Catherine Kasavuli says Tom Chomley. And I was like, chick, why have you swallowed this guy's name?
Why are you slashing off the words, the letters? All this.
Why are you swallowing this guy's name? His name is such a beautiful name, Cholmondele.
So she omitted the O-N-D and the E. Chomley.
She's the one who received the memo. I can Eric here. We're reading the
Chomley. We need to go back to the archives.
It was a
and,
whole debate.
Bring this up.
Catherine, where did you get that name?
Yeah.
Then it was like, oh, actually, that's what now the family had clarified. This is how you pronounce our name.
Interesting, though.
It's Chomley.
By the way, many people think
I would say Chomley.
Lord Delamere, the one who's passed on, was a British citizen. He was not. He was actually a Kenyan citizen.
Yeah.
He had renounced his British citizenship. Yes. So his lordship was indeed a Kenyan.
Chomley. I'm still there, though. Sorry.
But he survived by 2 grandsons. Yes.
Could you
One
please
is
tell
20,
us their
one is
names?
26. There's Henry
Cholmondele.
And I think
Latiff.
you have no idea how we were fascinated as Kenyans by that name.
Aye.
Cholmondele.
Cholmondele.
Someone could be
people were
having a baby
I
right
thought
now.
these guys are called Delamere. So why is the Delamere name in all these things? Because when you think about it, George, Hugh, Chomley.
That's his name.
Chomley.
Delamere.
Why is the Delamere thing?
That's the baronet.
That's a thing.
In the baronet. Yani wajua ile hierarchy ya nini? Ilikuwa inaitwa Delamere. Sasa lakini jina yake binafsi rasmi ilikuwa ni Henry Hugh George Cholmondele.
Cholmondele. Anyway, that was fun. I know it's something new for someone, and some of us have also learned today. I'm sure there was someone who was still saying it like Latiff in the day.
Yeah.
At least Leo, amejua hata hisi hug ni Hugh.
Yeah.
It's not hug. What? My Lydiah brothers. Hug. Hugh.
Quickly, as we get to the top of the hour, we had a conversation last week about Lebanon and what's happening in Lebanon.
Yes.
And remember, the government had given a deadline of 15th for people in Lebanon who would like to be evacuated to register. There's a portal, there's a number to call, please register. And the Kenyans in Lebanon have been saying, all right, we are trying to register. Some of us have registered. We have not received any kind of feedback from the government. And the PS said, yes, we have now worked in a way that we shall be giving you updates and information. Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says the government has set aside 100 million shillings to help Kenyans stranded in Lebanon in case they require evacuation due to war. Mudavadi appeared before the Senate yesterday and said there are 26,000 Kenyans in Lebanon and that evacuating all of them is a tough measure, with the Kenyan embassy in Kuwait sending out a message for those who require support to register. Migori Senator Eddie Okech had asked Mudavadi whether there are proper legal services for Kenyans in the US and whether the services are extended in other countries. He said it's not possible to provide legal aid to all Kenyans in the diaspora. There are 3.5 million Kenyans in the diaspora, and the government is not able to provide legal services to all of them. We have legal advisory desks in our embassies, and Kenyans in distress normally inform them. Yeah, normally is on paper, but Mudavadi, you know that very well. How many Kenyans in the diaspora, how many Kenyans of the 3.5 million officially known actually know that they can get legal aid and legal support from the embassy?
And if you claim that they do, what is this communication that was made possible for them to arrive at this understanding?
Yeah. So the Kenyans in Lebanon, they say that the money is available. If you need to be brought back home, they will bring you back home. 7 a.m., time for the news.
Spice up your life.
It's now 7 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
is Newswire. I'm Dennis Oseto. Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Ednah has called on Kenyans to stay true to the cause of Mazingira Day, to be backed today by engaging in activities that promote a clean environment. In a statement, Ednah said Mazingira Day is a crucial opportunity to accelerate environmental protection and raise awareness of the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss and pollution. The day, previously known as Moi Day, was renamed Tamaduni Day, then again changed to Mazingira Day after President William Ruto assented to the Miscellaneous Amendment Bill of 2024 on April 24th. The CS also encouraged Kenyans to mark the day by organizing, attending forum or getting involved in activities that highlight population control and pollution control, good waste management practices, reducing, reusing and recycling products at household and commercial level. Now, activist Bob Njagi, leader of the Free Kenya movement, finally spoke out about his harrowing 32-day abduction following his release by his captors. Now, in an emotional address held in Kitangala alongside fellow activist, Njagi recounted the terrifying experience he endured, which he attributes to his role in recent anti-government protest. Njagi detailed how he was seized on August 19th while traveling in a matatu in Mlolongo. 4 masked men approached him, accusing him of carrying a gun.
En route to Kitengela, the bus stopped at Mlolongo for some passengers to alight. It was then that 4 masked men, hooded men, got into the vehicle shouting, "Huyu ako na bunduki," while pointing at me. I was immediately alarmed by this assertion, and upon realizing what was happening, I shouted my name, Bob Njagi, and informed all the passengers that I was being targeted because of the demos. The officers shoved me out of the bus forcefully while assaulting me with kicks, blows, slaps, jacking me off my feet and carrying me shoulder high into the waiting car. Inside the white vehicle were 5 men, 2 in the front and 3 at the back. We drove for close to an hour, while all the time I was assaulted until we came to a sudden stop. I was then blindfolded and handcuffed at the back and moved into a second awaiting vehicle that had 4 men.
Despite the demands from various human rights organizations that the United Nations not to consider Kenya as a member of the United Nations Human Rights Council, Kenya has been elected as a member. In a meeting called by President of the 70th United Nations Council, Philemon Young, Kenya has been named as one of the countries that will be a member of the United Nations Human Rights Council for a period of 3 years, starting January 2025. In their request to the UN, the organizations asked the UN to reject Kenya's request to become a member, claiming that the Kenyan government has failed to respect human rights due to the killings of dozens of Kenyans during the anti-government protests.
Tunaiomba United Nations Human Rights Council iweze kutupilia mbali ombi la Kenya ya kuhusishwa kupata kiti katika hiyo council. Pia tunaiomba ya kwamba African Union pia itoe ile support yake ambayo ilikuwa imepatia Kenya katika hicho kiti.
Granting such a position will severely undermine the credibility and mandate of the UN and its ability to hold perpetrators accountable. We call upon the UN to utilize its mechanism to investigate the serious human rights violations in Kenya, establish the truth, ensure victims receive justice, and hold those responsible accountable before the UN Assembly of State Parties.
Other countries elected as members of the Council are Benin, Bolivia, Colombia, Cyprus, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Gambia, Iceland, Marshall Island, Mexico, North Macedonia, Qatar, Korea, Spain, Sweden and Thailand. Now, the FBI has arrested an Afghan man who officials say was inspired by the Islamic State militant organization and was plotting an election day attack targeting large crowds in the United States. This is according to the Justice Department. Nasir Ahmed Taudi of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, told investigators after his arrest that he had planned his attack to coincide with election day next month and that he had a juvenile co-conspirator expected to die as martyrs according to charging documents. This is News. I'm Dennis Oseto. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
There's no traffic Yeah. You just get up and go plant a tree, go back home, and you'll be fine. There's no traffic anywhere. So if your excuse for not planting trees today is, oh, now go pa jam, tafuta kitu ingine, all the roads are clear this morning at this time. Let's see, maybe in about half an hour or the next 2 hours or so, the traffic will start building up as people now get out and go about their holiday business.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It is 7 minutes after 7. Happy, what's the day called?
This Thursday.
Utamaduni?
No.
Mazingira Day. It used to be.
It's Mazingira. It used to be Moi Day.
Yes. Easy.
Squeezy.
Ni Mazingira. Lakini si evolve. Kuna wakati ilikuwa inaitwa utamaduni?
It has moved.
It has evolved.
Yes. Okay.
Just at the rate we're going. Take Ushirika Day. Just give it time.
Ushirika? Why Ushirika?
Just look at the possible names that you could give it.
So.
It's Mazingira Day, and on this Mazingira Day, in fact, Moi High School Kabarak, the Board of Trustees, Board of Directors, Chief Principal, staff, students, and parents of the Moi High School Kabarak celebrate the legacy of their patron in education, the second president of Kenya, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. We are a product of his vision, and we reflect on his contribution and vision that we shine in today. Them, they still remember their founder, Moi.
Moi Day.
This day used to be Moi Day, and now it's become Mazingira Day. It's okay, we will still celebrate Mazingira Day.
On this Moi Day.
On this Moi Day.
Yes.
Wameamua ni hivyo. So Anki Doris is our guest host today. She's back. It's good to have you.
Hola.
Now remind everybody why 53 outpatient facilities of the Aga Khan University Hospital. 53, right? Why is it important to talk about the 53 outpatient facilities?
Well, it is near now. It's very important that you're able to access the health care, which is quality, and of course, just very close to where you are. So that is courtesy of Aga Khan. And there, then you're able to access, different medical specialists. That is including, nutritionists, gynecologists, oncologists. Pretty much just coming to where you are. I want to read this that it's more specific, but remember to also just check in to your closest Aga Khan clinic. It's not clinic as you might think. It's just that they are they're closer to you, right?
Yep.
And we're looking at that particular issue because a lot of healthcare issues could come up at any time. So don't wait until your headache turns into a migraine into a inauma sana,
kichwa inauma
kuanzia nyuma. So when you feel that ikisonga mbele alafu karibu na macho ya left ama ya right. So the Aga Khan Hospital has also made medical checkups more available through subsidized wellness packages, and those packages are available at the clinic that I'm talking about in your neighborhood. The good news is that it is in your neighborhood. What we're looking at is a specialist like pediatricians, gynecologists, cardiologists are also there. You will find the family physicians, neurologists, ENT for those who are looking at the ear, nose, and throat checkups or issues. It's very important that you create time and move there. Dentists, wale watu wanaotaka to take care of their teeth, Aga Khan has that. And dermatologists for those who care about their nails. Ladies, if you can hear me, and gentlemen, check it out. So of course go get those, but there is also very specific at the Roysambu Specialty Center. Now this is very specific to Roysambu, a specialty center where you can get the chemotherapy services and minor daycare surgeries. That is very, very important. So that is the great news in as far as healthcare is concerned. Usiende mbali kutafuta specialists wako hapo kwa mtaa.
Yep. And it's a very, very good thing to think about. Now we talk about also convenience, and this is where Loop comes in, and we say, why wait while you can loop it? What is Loop? Loop is not just an app, but well, you can just download it from the App Store or Play Store. It'll look like an app. You'll download it and it'll appear like an app. You'll act on it like an app. But once you start using it, you realize, this is not an app. This is a lifestyle. Because what does it do? It loops everything about your life into this one particular platform. Once you download it from Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and you start using it, you will then realize that you can do very many financial transactions from this one spot. If you are thinking of you're running a small business, you can actually run your business and even advertise on Loop. If you are looking for a small loan, you can get a loan of up to 3 million shillings. If you're looking for an overdraft facility, up to 100,000 shillings of overdraft. You're thinking of doing something. Stop thinking, start doing it. If you get onto Loop, it'll help you to actualize your dreams. And this is why we say, why wait? Just loop it. Our guest this morning is the chairperson of the Free Kenya Movement, Bob Njagi. He's an activist. He's in the studio. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you for having me on the show.
Karibu sana.
Good morning, City.
Morning, Bob.
And morning, Anki.
Hola.
Karibu sana, Bob.
Asante.
Now, you shot into the limelight in the last couple of weeks, right? With the Gen Z demonstrations and the general demonstrations happening in the country, and then that abduction when you went missing for so long, and people were all over talking about, where is Bob Njagi? Where are the two brothers, the Langdon brothers? Where are you? One morning you just appear somewhere on the side of the road and we say, okay, Bob has been found. So you're here so you can take us through all that ordeal. Yesterday you had wanted to address a press conference, and you had a couple of run-ins with the security agencies from one to another, but we'll get into that. Sawa. First thing first is to welcome you with the day's proverb. As you know, City will give you the proverb. Your job is to listen to him and give us your interpretation of the proverb. Sawa.
Sure.
City, the proverbs for this week are from which country?
The Kingdom of Morocco. It's a monarchy. They have a king, not president, not prime minister, king.
Yes.
In Kiswahili, mfalme. And this is not one of those ceremonial types who are just there to be seen. This fellow actually has real power. Kabza. Yes. This fellow, Mohammed VI, His Majesty. Okay. He is a commander of the faithful. He's commander of the Moroccan Armed Forces. He's head of the Supreme Council of the Judiciary. He chooses who the prime minister should be from the party that has won the elections. He can remove ministries as he sees fit. He can also terminate parliament. Okay, now, see, I said he has power. You would think about that one. I'm sure there are many African presidents who salivate when they hear this. Feel if only. Sorry. We're a democracy.
Yes.
Yeah. So you member your kingship. Kwisha. Proverb. Fill his stomach and he will forget his country.
Fill his stomach and he will forget his country. Bob, what do you think this proverb is saying?
I think that sounds more of a Kenyan proverb. And Moroccan. It applies more here.
How so?
Because we're in a state whereby corruption has become the norm. Projects are diverted, and those who are entrusted with overseeing the implementation of such projects end up with the monies in their stomachs. So I say that proverb applies to the Kenyan context very well, in my view.
So the way to capture them is just feed their stomachs, fill their stomachs, and they will forget about the country, the people. They'll start serving you.
Okay.
It's a very direct one. City, I don't know why you brought this proverb particularly today.
I did not bring the proverb. In fact, if you must know, these proverbs, I chose them in April.
Oh. So it's just
8th of April 2024. That is when I prepared this.
So you didn't even know it was going to fall on this day, this proverb. Timing.
I did not time it for today.
Hey.
It just happens we're looking at countries of the Maghreb, and Morocco is one of those countries.
Interesting.
So it's not that I sat, thought, looked at all the proverbs that I could choose, said, wacha hii nidunge hii.
Siku ya Mazingira.
Okay.
No.
All right, Bob. The Free Kenya movement. You first tell us about the Free Kenya movement, and then many people would like to know who Bob Njagi is. So I think let's start with Bob Njagi. Who is Bob Njagi?
Before I say that, I first want to wish all Kenyans a happy Mazingira Day. I think we cannot overemphasize the importance of greening our country. I remember the president began with a very ambitious project of planting 15 billion trees. I don't know what happened to that initiative. They don't talk about it anymore. I would expect today should have been one day when all Kenyans would have been mobilized to go out there and do what is supposed to be done, plant a tree. Even in the studio here, before you come here, I should have planted a tree.
I did.
Yeah.
That's why we started the show a bit early.
Yeah, we were planting trees.
Yeah, it's important. Secondly, I want to say thank you first to all the persons who have come out to call for my release. I cannot go on the show without first beginning to say thank you to the media who highlighted this ordeal. I want to thank the Law Society of Kenya. They were very forefront in fighting for justice. The judiciary, through the Justice Lawrence Mugambi, he was very steadfast in the wheels of justice. The human rights organizations, the Defenders Coalition, who came out boldly to put the government on notice. I cannot forget my family, who went through a very difficult moment, looking for me everywhere. So I owe my life to Kenyans for being here. I say thank you. Bob Njagi is a 47-year-old man. I have 4 kids. I just got my last born the other day when I was abducted, a baby girl by the name Isabella, named after my mom. I live in Kitengela, and I'm a businessman, an entrepreneur. I'm also a leader of this Free Kenya movement. I have been in politics for quite some time. Before going into the Free Kenya movement, I used to be the Deputy Director of Elections for ODM, deputizing Junet Mohammed for a period of 9 years. So I have been on that side of politics for a while, but I opted to go independent due to on a matter of principle at some point. That is about 6 years back in 2018. We came together to form this movement as a result of the 2018 finance bill, which introduced 16% VAT on fuel at the time. At that time, there was a handshake between the opposition and government, that is ODM and Jubilee. And both members of parliament of both houses passed a very unpopular bill. At that point, we realized that parliament has already been captured by the state. And what we decided to do as Kenyans is to come together and form this movement that would be able to advance changes both in the constitutional process, political reforms, economic reforms, and social reforms. And that's what we have been doing. We have advanced many issues, some through litigation in court, by challenging bad laws. We have been actively participating in a referendum, which is an expression of direct democracy, whereby we are collecting 1 million signatures to push together a popular initiative to amend the Constitution of Kenya so as to deal with some of the structural and systemic issues that the country is faced with. We believe that some of the issues are so deep into the structure of the basic structure of the Constitution that we cannot have serious change without relooking at the current constitution. And therefore, we have an active referendum ongoing, and that is one of the reasons why I have been targeted by the state, because of the potential of this popular initiative that it portends. Because all the time we go out to collect signatures, they stop us from the collection of signatures. Because this potentially, a constitution is about a balance of power between those who are governed and those who govern. And therefore the state would not want to see a popular initiative, especially one that carries the interest of the people at heart. So that is one of the main reasons we have been targeted, if I must say. We have a movement that is across the country. We were very much involved in the protest, the anti-finance bill 2024. And I remember that time I had an interview with KTN on KTN Studios, and we put the government on notice that the way things are, people are so much agitated, and you need to put a hold on this finance bill, review it, and then bring it back. And that fell on deaf ears. You saw what the young people did. And on the 25th of June, they broke into Parliament declaring that they've had enough of this institution that is passing bad laws. Unfortunately, to date, we're still seeing the same Parliament operating, in oblivion of what
was
the people
happening then.
Yes.
So as I gather, lately you've been doing two things. One, you have been sensitizing people about this popular initiative to a constitutional amendment that you have been pushing. And also you've been participating in the calls for reforms in, for example, in the finance bill. You are actively participating in change of our governance and more representative governance. You are actively participating in it, right?
Yes.
So let's just quickly jump into when you are abducted one evening, you're going home, you're in a matatu, and then police come and abduct you. What had you been doing that day, and what had you been doing the previous day?
The previous day, I had received a phone call from Honorable Jimmy Wanjigi, and he was alarmed because he had been summoned by the police he had been summoned to the Nairobi area police. So he asked me to accompany him in solidarity. As I was there, he was arrested. He was taken to Kamkunji police station. That day, we had already called for protest in the following day on the 20th. All right? So, and people were ready to come out.
What were the protests about?
The demos were still about pro-good governance. That's what we're talking about. Pro-good governance. We want accountability. All right? We want, the lagis that has been flaunted by government officials to end. Right? So there are genuine reasons. The president has violated this current constitution in many occasions. Right? These have already been proven in the court of law when you have the housing levies been
deemed
unconstitutional, but they continue to tax Kenyans, with impunity. So there are so many reasons why we were on the streets. You saw what they did. They actually changed government, the executive, but brought in the same people.
The CS?
The CSs, right? Okay. That was part of the agitation, which the Gen Zs and others were calling out for.
So you'd already planned your demo for the 20th?
On the 20th, yes.
And then you got this call from Jimmy?
I got a call from Jimmy. I went to see him and found him at the Kamkunji station. I was there with Wakili Willis and the family. So we come to there till around 10 in the evening and realized that he's not going to be released. And therefore, we agreed that we'll convene the following day in court. I was with the company with my colleagues from the Free Kenya movement, and they dropped me off at a bus terminus where I picked a bus that actually goes along Mombasa Road. On reaching Mlolongo, the bus came to a halt and a few passengers were alighting. It was then that some men who were masked, hooded, they didn't identify themselves, but they came into the matatu shouting, "Huyu ako na bunduki," while pointing at me, "Huyu ako na bunduki," So I was so alarmed because I don't operate a gun. In any case, I don't own one, and I don't actually like guns, so to speak. And I told them that no, mimi sina bunduki. My name is Bob Njagi. So I started shouting so that to raise alarm, and the passengers didn't know what to do because they were in a situation whereby they think I could be a thief, according to the assertions from these men. So they don't know, but some of them, I think, realized that they figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they tried to record, but the cops were beating them up, slapping them. Anybody who tried to record was being assaulted.
And you're saying these people were hooded?
They were masked.
Okay.
And
so they're wearing a mask?
And they had caps. Some had caps on them. Some had.
So you only have the eyes to look at.
You only see the face here.
But you also refer to them as cops just now.
Yeah, because they came in as such.
Okay.
Did they say we are police officers?
They did say so.
When they boarded the
They
matatu?
did say so, yes. Even the bus conductor actually said, wacheni polisi wafanye kazi yao. The bus conductor shouted, wacheni polisi wafanye kazi yao. So everybody knew,
these are
polisi. So I surrendered myself. Somehow I struggled with them. I did struggle with them for about 5 minutes, but they overpowered me, put me inside a car, and that was the beginning of everything now. Yeah.
How far was the car parked from the matatu stage? Did you walk a long distance from the matatu to
I don't want to relive this story so much.
Yeah.
You know, it's still traumatizing to me. Yeah. But the car was just in front of the matatu. I understand there was another one that was behind also, blocking the matatu. There were two cars, one in the front, one in the back. So I was taken to the front car, put in the seat behind, with 5 men inside, and seriously assaulted.
What make of vehicle was it?
It was a white vehicle. It was a Hyundai. I could see the sign is a H in the back, with tinted windows.
5 people inside the vehicle.
Yeah, the driver, co-driver, and 3 men at the back.
So you're the 6th?
I'm the 6th. I was put down. You see where you put your feet?
Yes.
My head was there, and my feet were in the boot, squeezing me everywhere, punching me up, slapping me, hitting me hard, subduing me completely to submission, you know. And I was not defending myself. I told them, what is it?
Did they answer?
Yeah, did they give an
couldn't
answer?
answer.
Okay.
They only said, I don't want to talk about much, but yeah, they said a lot of things. By 2 p.m. you'll be in Rivayala. By 2 a.m. in the morning.
This is what they said to you?
Yes. By 2 a.m. in the morning you'll be in Rivayala. So I said, fine, I only have 2 hours to live. It was around 11.
What belongings did you have when you were being picked up? I presume that, of course, you have a wallet, you have your phone. Did you have anything else that you were carrying?
Just my phone.
Just your phone?
Just my phone.
And, of course, they took the phone immediately?
Yeah.
So you had no way of communicating with anybody to say, I have been arrested or I have been picked up and I'm going to this station. You did not know where you were going.
It had gone off. Yeah.
Owing to the events of the day.
Phone had gone off, yeah.
So maybe if I just, because clarity is important, they get you in the matatu, they accuse you of having a gun, you declare that you're Bob Njagi and you're unarmed. They insist on taking you to a different car. Now, these particular ones that you said were masked and, of course, with hoodies and caps, they identified themselves as police. The conductor said, wacha polisi afanye kazi yake. You're transferred to another car. Do these particular ones in this, the 5 men in the white car, do they as well identify themselves at all? Or it's just assault? And they tell
they
you...
didn't identify themselves.
They did identify themselves.
Yes, but they drove us for about an hour. We drove for about an hour. Came to a stop. I was moved from that vehicle to a second vehicle that was waiting, which had about 4 men in it. Transferred to that vehicle. I was blindfolded. I was handcuffed in the back. Put in the second car. Driven off around for another half an hour until we got to where now I have been for the last those 32 days. Some building somewhere.
Yesterday, when you spoke to the media, you were just defining bits and pieces of those 32 days. First, I said for a couple of days you are handcuffed with your hands to the back, and you're in this room, you're alone, and then they come and give you 2 meals a day, you said?
1 meal a day.
1 meal a day. But were they coming to question you? Are you having conversations with these people who had picked you up?
Never.
So nobody's talking to you?
Nobody.
For how many days?
32 days. I was in solitary.
They never came to question you and ask you, what are you doing? What do you know about the demonstrations?
Nothing.
That's strange. And when they come to give you food, what do they say?
Nothing. They just open the door, put a cup of tea, close the door.
Interesting.
And, lunch hour, put a plate of food, close the door.
And the room is dark throughout?
And the room is dark throughout, day and night. And I'm handcuffed day and night for 32 days.
The handcuffs never came off?
For 32 days, never came off?
Never came off. You see the marks here?
That is, I'm sitting closer to him. I think I can see them. Okay. The interesting bit, though, is you have said that this followed your... because I think I had you, in studio at that time when the Gen Z protests were just beginning. Okay, I think he needs some time. Yeah. And they don't get to actually interrogate you on, number one, the constitutional reforms you are pushing for. Neither does anyone interrogate you on the arrests. To this point, even as you're here right now, you have no idea why, and there was no conversation in the 32 days as to no interrogation, no one sought any answers, no one warned you to stop anything in the 32 days. This is what...
No.
It's nobody.
I haven't been spoken to by anyone. I couldn't access those. It was incommunicado.
Okay.
Incommunicado. Complete silence.
This you call psychological torture?
Yes.
You shared.
Psychological.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also physical, because I was underfed. I lost so much weight within such a short time. I think they were trying to break us down. Yeah.
Actually, one of the things that happens when you're in confinement, the neurons in your brain shrink. And research has shown that it shrinks up to 20%. So it affects not just the way you think, it affects your speech. That's just the beginning. And then you are also prone to PTSD. You are also prone to panic attacks. Your whole psychological welfare or well-being is completely reorganized. So the person who went into confinement is not the same person who comes out.
Not the person who comes out.
No, the person who comes out is somebody who actually requires mental attention, mental health attention. This is somebody who actually needs to be treated. Because the whole idea behind solitary confinement is supposed to be for a very short period. That's the purpose. But if it's confined to something like 30 days, unfortunately, it can have permanent effects on the person. Yes.
I know that I will interrogate this maybe later after the break, but Bob mentioned in the press yesterday that, and of course you'll give us clarity, that you will forgive and you have forgiven the abductors, but you're going to move forward and sue the government for what you term inhumane treatment. I think that really came out in your press, and would love to understand then this angle that you have taken and on what basis you will be grounding this suit on. I think that's where I'd want to just, cue it for now.
Let's take a break. 25 minutes to 8. Our guest this morning is Bob Njagi. Bob is the founder and leader of the Free Kenya Movement. He's here. He's the chairman of the Free Kenya Movement. He's here to talk to us about, what the Free Kenya Movement is all about, what they stand for and what they push for. But also at the same time, he's given us his the 32 days that he was in captivity. He doesn't know to this day who held him. He doesn't know to this day why he was held, because they never told him anything for those 32 days. Once he entered into this room, He was handcuffed for the 32 days. They only opened to bring in tea and to bring him food. Nobody spoke to him at all, and there was nobody else with him in that room. We'll find out more after this break. Safaricom reminds you about the home fiber. So Safaricom Home Fiber is this investment by Safaricom over 10 years. They decided, we want to take a lead in distribution of fiber. We want to take a lead in the data market in this country. And they have taken a lead, currently the market leaders. So Safaricom Home Fiber has various packages. Just think about any of them, from bronze all the way to silver to platinum. 2,999 is the bronze package. And you get that, you get good speed, you get reliable connectivity. And the good thing about it, CT, as well, is, like we said, the customer service. They will speak to you. If there's a problem, you're having some intermittent connection, maybe there's a fiber cut somewhere, they'll actually alert you even before you know it. They'll send you a message. We're having some issues with our internet in this area and we're working on it, right?
Yeah, I received one yesterday.
That. You got one yesterday?
Yeah.
And then after a short time?
Something is, because maybe sometimes they give you this particular communication 2 days earlier prior, so you prepare yourself and you're not inconvenienced. So that's 11th, they're about to 12th. They're expecting some, I'm not
They'll be working.
They'll be working
on something. That's what they sent you a message to say.
Yeah.
That they'll be working on something.
Yes.
So you know this. And even if you had not, read your messages, and on that day you call their customer service support number, 400, you will find somebody on the other end, and they will pick up, they will tell you, yes, this area, this is the problem we are having. Or, are you having slow speeds? Let me work on it. They can remotely reboot even your router and tell you, is it better now? I can see you connected X number of devices onto it. Maybe reduce the number of devices for now, because all of you are downloading too many things at the same time. Probably that's affecting your speed. Customer service is important. Customer support is important. If you are subscribed to Home Fiber and you need customer support, just dial 400 and you're sorted. If you want to subscribe, do *400# and you will subscribe to the Safaricom Home Fiber.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you're willing to be milked dry.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said so. But I'll continue saying, watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The weather with SpiceFM.
It's a good day to plant trees across the country today. Currently, it's 18 degrees and warm in Nairobi. Highs of 24 later. In Malindi, it's 27 and sunny. In Mombasa, it's sunny at 25. Kakamega is sunny at 18. It's sunny in Eldoret at 15. It's sunny in Nyeri at 15. Sunny in Nakuru at 14. No rainfall expected anywhere. Kisumu, 21 degrees and sunny. Just go out there today. You have no excuse at all. Go plant a tree. If you go over to Uganda, it's 18. Light rain showers in Kampala. It's also mostly cloudy in Lagos, Nigeria. It's sunny in Addis Ababa, sunny in Mogadishu, sunny in Dar es Salaam. Johannesburg is partly sunny at 15. Kinshasa, partly cloudy at 22. Heavy rains in Paris at 13. Light rain in London at 11. New York, it's clear skies at 13. And Beijing, sunny at 19.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. SpiceFM.
Spice up your life.
perfect road conditions for you to go and plant trees. I'm selling this story, Kabisa. It's Mazingira Day. Let's go and green our country. Even Bob Jagge started by saying, let us green our country. It's important that we do this. So you have no excuse at all. Even those who normally find traffic at this time on Thika Superhighway, it's clear. Kiambu Road is clear. Mombasa Road into town or out of town, it's clear. Langata Road in and out, clear. Ngong Road in and out, clear. Jogoo Road in and out, clear. Kangundo Road in and out, clear. The bypasses are all clear. Just go plant a tree.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
We continue our conversation with the chairman of the Free Kenya Movement, Bob Jagge, who's here. Bob, we are sorry that, we are asking questions that take you back into a very dark moment for you. But please bear with us, because many people, when they hear this, they just assume, okay, huyu alishikwa, alitoka. You don't count 32 days, because in 32 days you've just been waking up and doing your things, but somebody has been waking up and not knowing what is going to happen in the next minute. For 32 days, it's torturous. And there are many others who have not been able to speak. You are strong enough to have gone through this and been able to speak. So please bear with us. Speak. Use the opportunity to speak as much as you can. Where it's uncomfortable, tell us, yes, this, let me know, dive in there. So, Anki Doris, you wanted to ask about what now you said yesterday. Yeah. You want to take action. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, and of course you mentioned that there are several other families that have lost loved ones, and you're calling out the government to compensate these families. Abductions, this is not the first time we're hearing about abductions, but it's very good that for me personally, I'm getting to actually interact with you, at least one person who has said they were abducted. And I want to understand then your inspiration, behind this suit. You're planning to sue the government. Maybe you could just clarify on what accounts or grounds you want to sue the government, and are there other people who've been abducted that you also experienced or encountered, and what is your information or situation around the abductions that you are particularly talking about in the country?
Well, I said that we're going to seek justice, not just for myself, but for many other Kenyans. One of the things that we plan to do is to initiate a class action suit against the state for all persons who have been killed during these demonstrations. And there is evidence, sufficient evidence to show that government, through the use of live ammunition, caused the deaths of tens of young men and women during the anti-finance bill protest. In my own area where I come from, in Kitengela, we lost Kefa Ouma, Shakil Obiego, and Charles Owino, whom we buried. 2 of them were shot. I personally was the person who was carrying the corpse as during the demos. And we went to the police station with the cops, and we left the cops there. And they picked that body, took it to City Mortuary, and left it there, claiming that it has been taken from Juja. Somebody was hit by a car, and the body was taken from Juja to City Mortuary. Yet, the young man, whom we have all the evidence, photos, videos, was shot dead. And he was just standing next to me in the protest. If you look at the pictures, he was just there next to me. I was just next to him when he was shot. So there is serious evidence of crimes against humanity. And Latiff, if we don't take action as a people, not as Bob Njagi, this is where we're calling on all Kenyans to come together, and put together a class action suit. We have parents of those who lost their kids. They're still out here. they must be, justice must be found for them. Otherwise, we cannot continue in an endless cycle where people lose their lives and others continue as if nothing happened. We're sacrificing the lives of many young people for the good of a few.
When you say class action suit, what exactly is that?
It's to bring together all the persons who've been victims and put a case together.
Jointly.
Okay. All right. So what we need is organizations like the LSK to come together and invite the families, all right, of all those persons who have died and jointly put a class action suit. And that is going to be the beginning of redemption, because unless the state is held liable, because there's clear laws as to how demonstrations should happen. You notify the police give you security. Okay, in the event of a protest going out of hand, the police have a capability to control the situation without using too much force. And that is by the law. So how do we put a balance of power? Do we continue, Latiff, and say, forget about what everything happened, we sweep it under the carpet? No. I will be the voice and the face of the people who are going to be seeking this justice, not just for myself, but especially for the victims who died.
Have you reached out to the families of those who died?
Yes.
And are they willing? Are they willing to join up in this class action?
They're scared, though. They're scared. Yes, but they're willing. But I assume that's the role of the civil society, where they come in. Okay, they come in to fill those gaps in the society whereby they give a hand to this. Normally, they are the marginalized people in society because they've come out to the streets to say that there's a problem. And then you kill the young people, okay? So we are organizing, even on this 20th Mashujaa Day, we shall be celebrating our heroes, all those who died on the 20th. We have two activities, one in Embakasi East, it's called Jacaranda. There's a young people, the Wahenga Youth Group are organizing a vigil, and also Eric Omondi is doing something at Uhuru Park, which we shall also participate, so that first we create the awareness that indeed these young people died not in vain, and then through that we can use that as a platform to push for their compensation for their families. I don't know why government is playing hardball on this, because government has the resources, and only they should do is be human enough to cushion the families.
Is this where you draw the inspiration, sorry City, just coming to you shortly, on the watu ni nguvu, nguvu ni watu?
That is our slogan for the Free Kenya movement.
Okay.
Because we are grounded by the people power. That's our slogan. We say, when I say people power, you say higher power. People power, Eric. Higher power. People power.
Higher power.
People power.
Higher power.
The meaning is that all sovereign power is vested in the people.
Okay.
And it's the people who should exercise this power. It should be exercised for their benefit. So we say people power, hiyo ni watu ni nguvu.
Okay.
Nguvu ni watu.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you talk about some of the families being scared, it's with good reason. But has it occurred to you that the government can also be scared?
Of the suit?
The government can be scared by movements such as yours, because the sort of violence that has been unleashed, if your movement was violent, one could understand the reprisal by the government, because they'd be responding to violence.
Yeah.
But when you respond to a non-violent activity with violence, what does it tell us? It tells that you are also not just uneasy, you are afraid. And it isn't the policemen who are afraid. Policemen, these are disciplined forces. They obey orders. They are told what to do. It's not as though they wake up in the morning and say, so what shall we do today? No. They are given instructions as to what to do. So the question you want to ask is, those who give these instructions, what are they afraid of? Because the ask was simple. We have a problem here, fix it. That was the ask. It was not a violent ask. It's just an ask. We have this problem, please explain. The response is violence. So how do you explain that response? There's incongruence.
Yeah, somebody asked me the same question, which I'm still trying to find an answer, is why Bob, why us? Yet we're not the only ones on the streets, you know. I think the issue is that we have not been funded by anybody, our protest. Yet the people have come out in their numbers responding. Whenever we call them out to do so, they come out and they are not afraid of even the police because they come out to fight for their rights. Okay, so I think the intensity of the demos is what propelled them to take the actions that they did.
So, Bob, you're the movement and, of course, the Kenyans who came out with you, if you're saying you're not on your own, according to you, in your observation and within your rights, you would confidently say that you have not done anything to, put the public in a position where probably they're incited to violence or to unconstitutionally, interfere with government operations. Just confidently, you would clear your name from anything of the sort?
For sure.
Okay.
We don't advocate for any violence. Our demos we've always called for peaceful but powerful demos. It can be peaceful, but doesn't mean it's not powerful.
Okay.
It's powerful in the sense of the numbers that come out. And I think that is what threatened the government due to the intensity of the and until some of them now started introducing hooligans, all right, to now cause, looting, thuggery, so that the business community can then be swayed not to support the protesters, and secondly also to cause fear, especially amongst the Gen Zs, whom were not used to violence. Right? When you introduce violence in a peaceful protest, then the people who are peaceful keep away from the protest. So that's what they ended up doing, and we did not relent. We called off the demos at some days, but on other days we called them back on. So I think that was because they thought they would stop us by introducing violence, but we kept
going
the tempo.
You're confident you will get justice? If you start the corridors of justice?
Even the Mau Mau, my grandfather was one. They were up against a heavy task of removing the colonizers. But if they asked themselves the same questions, would we have gotten the first liberation? No. We got the first liberation, we got the second liberation in 1992, and if we are the ones who have to struggle through the third liberation, then we are ready for it. Yes, it will not come easy, but it will come.
It will come.
It will come, but definitely.
What drives you as a person? I mean, why are you doing this? So you said you have a political bone in you, and you joined political agitation. You went into a structured party. You are an official of ODM. It's structured. It has ways of doing things. It even has ways of mobilizing funds, right?
Sure.
And then you come out of it, you go into activism without any form of that structure.
Sure.
But then what would drive you? How do you wake up every day and you're thinking, I want to continue pushing for this? Everybody has needs, man. You have children, you have a family, you have extended family. They've got expectations of you, and you're waking up and doing these things of organizing demos and mobilizing for a constitutional amendment through popular initiative, and joining the anti-finance bill protests, and going back home. What drives you, Bob?
It's the need to see a better country, because I understand that failure to do so would only mean that we would continue to live in a country that is in a state of poverty. It's easier to fight for your country than not to fight for it. Because if we don't fight for our country, we'll have more problems to deal with. All right? You see, when we went for the protest, what happened? The finance bill was pulled back. Had we not gone out, it would be now in effect. So I think this is not something I should be doing. We should, all of us, be doing what Bob is doing. I shouldn't be an exemption. It should be the norm. That City, you too can come out. Eric, you too can come out. Anki can come out. Or you can do it within your spaces, even here in the studio.
Yeah.
You don't have to come to the streets. All right? But every citizen has a constitutional right, Article 3, to defend the Constitution. So what I'm doing, for me, is supremacy of the Constitution. And when the president and the government is violating the same Constitution, we as a people have a right to defend. That's all we are doing, is to defend the Constitution.
You know, in the 1980s, the period that led to the coup, there had been activism similar to the one we are seeing now. Then there was a coup attempt. And what is of interest during that period, there are very many individuals who are at that time in their youth. And they were arrested. You wouldn't know this, but our principal cabinet secretary, Musa Lydiah, was among the people who was arrested. And his father was a cabinet minister. And he wasn't arrested for a day. It was several weeks. So that was a coup attempt. And one could say there was logic behind what the government was doing because the government had directly been threatened. But in this case, there's no one threatening to overthrow the government. They're just saying, there are things we want you to change. They're saying, look, we're not happy with this. And in fact, the conversation is a fairly soft one. But the response is what makes you ask, why is the government responding in this manner? And yet what they ask is actually a fairly straightforward ask.
For instance, before I was arrested, there's a matter we raised that is very sensitive. I don't know if I can speak about it here. We raised this matter regarding the IBC Act of 2024. I think you saw when the president signed it into law at KICC. He was standing next to the Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka at the mid of the Gen Z protest.
Yes.
We had an issue, and because we think the elections of 2027 have already been rigged through that act. Rigging of election happens, it's a process.
Before the actual voting process?
Before the voting. Actually, from the selection of the commissioners. That's where it all begins. Right now we have a tribunal of 9 people, 5 of whom will be selected from political parties, both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, that is Raila and Ruto. It means that the commission will have, out of 7, about 5 of their proxies. The election has already been stolen. I don't know what we're waiting for. So we have to challenge this act to remove the political parties' players from the tribunal, and we are going to a constitutional court to declare it unconstitutional, null and void, because for a commission to be independent, it cannot have proxies of political parties who are participants to the same election. It's like you have a tournament for the Premier League, and then you have Arsenal and Man U choosing the referees. Who's going to win the league?
You repeated something we've said about that many times.
This is one of the reasons why I'm being targeted, because we're touching the soft spots, the areas that matter, while the rest of the country has been distracted by the constitution of an executive. But where the real chase is in the IBC, they don't want you to look at the real issue, so they create another scandal or something that is so emotive, like the impeachment, you know. But I'm telling you, as we speak, the elections of 2027, if it goes on, if this tribunal that is being appointed elects the next commissioner, remember that the tribunal is going to propose 3 names to the president to choose the commission, the chairperson. And the chairperson is the one who declares the results. So you have a second term, irrespective of what the Gen Zs are saying.
It's not far-fetched. We've raised that issue, but even before NADCO report started sitting on why the IEBC should be picked by the players.
We are saying that they should have people like the EACC sitting on that tribunal, because they have the tools to look at whether you're qualified, your integrity issues. They should have the JSC chairperson, and the heads of the institutions are the ones who should sit there, not the representative. If it's the ESCC, we have the chairperson. If it's a JSC, we have the chairperson. We have the PSC, the Public Service Commission, we have the chairperson. Why do you need an interreligious council to elect for us as commissioners? What do the religious people have in terms of vetting that can make them credible enough to sit and choose for us the next commissioners?
Integrity, Bob.
Sorry?
They represent integrity.
Integrity is ESCC.
They represent
no.
All right. Let's do the news. Let's do the news. It's 8 a.m. Bob Jaggi, chairman of the Free Kenya Movement, is our guest this morning. Keep it here. It's going to be warming up in the next hour.
Spice up your life.
It's now 8 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning, this is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has explained why Kenyans in the diaspora, especially in the United States, delay in getting their national identity cards. Now, speaking when he appeared before the Senate plenary, Mudavadi said that some of the delays were occasioned by the registration on the e-Citizen platform. He noted that some of the Kenyans abroad register to receive their one-time PIN or OTP, which allows one to log into the system through their US phone numbers, and this makes it difficult for them to receive the OTP. Mudavadi further announced that the government has allocated 100 million shillings to evacuate Kenyans stranded in Lebanon.
We also had a situation where the Kenyans there, out of their own volition, say they don't want to move. They want to hold out until the situation cools down. So we have that dilemma as well of Kenyans who hope for the best and do not want to move, and you cannot force them because we have to handle this in a humanitarian way. But the government of Kenya has set aside 100 million, and there's a committee in the Foreign Affairs working with the security and other agencies to see how this 100 million can be utilized to assist in the evacuation of Kenyans who are in Lebanon.
Secretary General Kenya National Union of Nurses Seth Panyako has warned that nurses will down their tools if the government does not address the controversy and confusion surrounding the shift under the Social Health Authority. Speaking in Kakamega County, Panyako said that women under the Linda Mama program have failed to pay hospital fees after delivery due to the existing confusion.
We are solidly behind the industrial action is going to come. We want it to happen. We can't sit back and watch somebody stealing from us, robbing us daytime. And because we have nothing to do, they have already said they are going to steal the money. We cannot allow that. We can't. That one we cannot accept. It is obvious that we are going to lead Kenyans in a massive industrial action against the theft that's going on. But I want to be very clear. SHA, what was proposed to be offered to Kenyans is way superior than NHIF. But it's not being funded because money is going to 2 or 3 people. So the problem in this shift and SHA is corruption.
His statement comes as many women in various hospitals in Kakamega County remain in hospital for not having enough money to pay for the necessary services.
Hata wakati alikuwa anakuja clinic alikuwa anakuja hapa na tuliweza kurejistiwa, tukaambiwa tunarejistiwa NHIF na ile Linda Mama ambayo itaweza kumsaidia wakati anajifungua. Lakini wakati amekuja kujifungua tumeambiwa hiyo vitu zote hazifanyi kazi na sasa tutahitajika kulipa shilingi 7,400 na shilingi 4. Na tumeambiwa pia kilala inaongezeka na 2,000 kila siku. So tumegwama hapa na hatuna pesa na hatujui tutafanya namna gani. Hospitali hajatuonesha kwamba hiyo SHA tutafanya namna gani. Kitu hao wametuambia ni hizo vitu zote hazifanyi kazi. Na wakati wamesema hazifanyi kazi wanasema it's either unalipa cash ama mgonjwa aendelee kukaa hapo na ikiendelea kupile. Na hata vitanda wanakaa 3.
Now, ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has called on the youth of the party to support Raila Odinga's bid for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission. Speaking at an ODM youth meeting in Machakos, Sifuna said Odinga continues to get support even when he's given the post of the AU chairmanship. Now, Sifuna has also congratulated the young people for advancing the party's agenda, stressing that ODM will remain being a strong party.
I am extremely encouraged by the message that has come out of this meeting that this party will retain its identity, even in light of recent developments with the formation of the broad-based government. That tells me that the young people in this party know who they are, they know themselves, and they know their party. And therefore, Mr. President, I want to congratulate you for continuing with the good work of ensuring that you fly the flag of ODM as high as possible. I want to also congratulate you for your support for the candidature of our party leader, and I want to report to you as the young people in the party that everything is going well. So far, so good, and we continue with your support and the prayers for the party leader, I believe that in the fullness of time, he shall be able to make it to the AUC.
This is News. I'm Dennis Oseto. Good morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Roads are clear. It's Mazingira Day. It's the 10th of October 2024. It's a day that the government says, let's plant trees, let's green our country, let's re-green our country. Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Ednah, actually released a statement and said, you know what, people? So this one has officially been gazetted as a Mazingira Day. It's a day to look at our environment and take care of our environment. What do? Let's go on and plant trees. Okay. So if you can plant a tree, by the way, this one, it's going to benefit you. You have seen what has happened where people have cut trees. And you've seen what has happened where people have started re-greening their neighborhoods. Let's re-green our neighborhoods.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's at 7 after 8. Good morning and thank you for keeping it locked on the Situation Room. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. We're still here with Bob Njagi, the chairman of Free Kenya Movement. He is one of the activists who'd been abducted by people unknown, whether they are officers or thugs or whatever, and kept in some solitary confinement for 32 days before he was released. And, you know, he found his way back. He came back, he's found that, his daughter, his last-born daughter, fourth-born, had been born, and she's now there. She's happy. She looks at her dad, and he looks at the daughter and says, I am glad I'm back home. But he says, you know what, it's for all of us to do this. It's for all of us as Kenyans to look at our obligation under Article 3 of the Constitution. All right, so let's think. What does the Constitution say? We have an obligation to protect, uphold, and preserve this Constitution. And if we feel that there are some things that are happening that are beyond that, then it's upon us to do whatever we can in whatever spaces we are in, whether it's speaking about it, whether it's creating awareness about it. CT, before you remind Bob about the day's proverb, please tell him about the all-in-one package by Safaricom.
Well, you know, there are some things that are difficult to believe if you're told, but when they're true, you have no option but to believe. And one of those things is the all-in-one package by Safaricom. 1,000 minutes talk time. Me, that is the one which jazzes me. I can just talk and talk and talk and talk. Then they give you 2,000 SMSs. This one I don't even know what to do with. Because now, who am I going to be sending SMSs to? Okay? Then they give you 17. Ile nguva into a GB. Okay? Great bomb. Here. My friend, you can watch movies until you're tired.
That's bad.
Then just in case you think this thing had run its course, free what is up. Free.
What is up? Yes.
Free.
What is up?
Yes.
Hey, what's up, groups?
And that's just a package for 2,000 shillings that runs for 30 days. You can do star 544 hash, okay? Once you do star 544 hash, you will see a suite of options. Go monthly is number 4. You'll see it. Choose the Go monthly. Once you go to the Go monthly, it'll bring another suite of options. Choose the number 1, all in one. And the all in one, then you'll see other options. You can either choose the 500 bob one. You can choose the 1,000 shillings one, the 2,000 shillings one, the 3,000, and so on and so forth. And you can choose then your package, what you think suits you. If 1,000 with 17, if 2,000 with 17 GB, 2,000 SMSs, 1,000 minutes of talk time is just too much, you can go for the lower one, maybe 1,000. Or even the lower one, maybe 500. Or you can go for the higher one, maybe 5,000. Depending on your needs. All of it is just to make sure that you will not have the headache of running out of data in the middle of watching your movie, or running out of minutes in the middle of talking to somebody, or trying to do some bank transactions and you're doing something hash, and then it tells you you don't have air to eat. Those things, nah. Bob, you know Naivas, the supermarket, right?
Sure.
So Naivas has very many branches across the country in all the major cities and towns. Naivas in Nairobi has several 24-hour outlets. They have added 2 more. When you're on the Eastern Bypass and you get to Utawala, you will get a 24-hour Naivas. If you proceed and you get to Kamaki's, you will get a 24-hour Naivas. And that adds into very many others that are here in Nairobi, including many. Okay?
The one in Kasukari. Yes, but it's not 24 hours yet.
That's a campaign. You're campaigning for that one to be made at 24 hours.
I have pushed for it. Wasikize. 24 hours, please. Hapo Kasukari.
Courtesy of Naivas, right? They say Naivas saves you money. And you can also download the Naivas app and shop from the comfort of your home. And then you get organized for deliveries to wherever you are. NCBA Loop helps you to run your life smoothly. Loop is not an app. Loop is a lifestyle. I say, when you have Loop, then you are sorted. When you have Loop, you can transfer money from M-Pesa. Through M-Pesa, you can transfer money. Through NCBA, you can transfer through RTGS. Through SWIFT, you can transfer. You can just transfer money.
It's actually very interesting.
You can make payments.
You can. And when you look at what the definition of Loop is, there are many. But the one I like is, it's a process that takes you to the end of something and then it connects you to the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything more. So I've just said it.
That's it. You've looped it.
You've looped
it. Okay. Remind us the day's proverb. These proverbs are from the Kingdom of Morocco.
Yes. Fill his stomach and he will forget his country.
His stomach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anki Doris has an issue with stomach.
No, I don't have a problem with stomach.
Stomach.
So much. It's okay, Latiff. I'm just saying for the normal Kenyan.
Fill his stomach. And he will forget.
And
actually, some people say country.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are Kenyans. We pronounce every letter in a word.
Yes. So long as you understand what they're saying,
we're good.
It is okay.
All right.
Yes.
And Bob, what was your interpretation again of this proverb? Fill his stomach and he'll forget his country.
Well, direct translation is that people tend to forget about people who are in positions of responsibility, who will put their interest first before the interest of the people, such that when you have a tender, probably it's a project for road, you'll find it has been over budgeted. So a lot of money is lost in the process. And the projects, you had the Aurora and Kimorera dams. It's a practical example of fill the stomach and because people will take the money, fill their stomachs, buy good cars, buy properties, and at the expense of the development to the people. That's my interpretation of it.
It's a good one. I want to take you back into something that you said at the very beginning. So, as the Free Kenya movement, you have looked at the Constitution and you think there's some areas of the Constitution that need to be amended.
Correct.
And you've launched a popular initiative.
Correct.
To go across the country to collect signatures for people to support this.
Yes.
What is it that you have a problem with this Katiba of ours?
We actually don't have a problem with it. We want to make it better. It's a good constitution, but it can be made better. For starters, what we have realized has been the biggest issue is the participation of the people in governance. So we have come up with a structure of direct representation. Right now, what we have been relying upon for the last 60 years is indirect representation, whereby we trust the leaders whom we elect to make the right choices on the behalf of people. And that has led to a systemic failure because the system has been captured. So there is no way Parliament is going to execute its mandate as it's supposed to do. All right. So in the absence of, if the structure of the indirect representation has been captured, what we are saying is that we are recreating the state of Kenya, and we're including what we are calling people's governments as a third tier of government. So you have the national government, you have the county governments, and now we have the people's governments. This will be situated in all the 47 counties, and there is a structure from the village level to the county level through which the people now directly interact with government. This
with each government, with national or county?
With both the national and the county governments. Actually, the system of the people's government is meant to oversight both the two other levels of government. And since there has been no oversight directly by the people, that's how funds are stolen. Because an MCA will come and say, we are doing a project X that will cost 3 million in the village. We are going to dig for you a borehole. All right? They end up not doing the project. The money has already been taken away. The people have no structure which they can directly express their sovereignty. So what we have done as a Free Kenya Popular Initiative, we took the model of Makueni County, where they had a people's government under Kivutha Kibwana. And we want now to legislate this to be part of our laws, to be part of our structures of governance, so that we have the people's governments working side by side with the county and the national governments. What this will do, it will eradicate corruption. This is the only cure for corruption. There is no other cure you can do. It's by the people themselves oversighting over their own resources, right? Because it will be very difficult for a contractor to get away with money, because the people have to sign the performance contract before the contractor is paid. All right? So once you involve the people, and that's what we're calling, ours is what we're calling quantifiable public participation.
Okay.
So it's not just saying.
It's not just saying it. It's a new structure in the system of governance that we are introducing. That is one. Two, there are other areas that require a popular initiative. For instance...
Bob, I'm sorry, but I need to take you back to this people government structures. And I know you've mentioned that there will be a structure, will oversight the two governments, will have signatories. But I'm curious, though, deeper into that structure, because sometimes the question is of the sustainability and the quality of those structures. If you do not mind then to share if there is any sort of bureaucracy within that people's government, or how does that, what are these, could you give us a bit of 2-3 details,
on how it operates?
Yes, on how that operates.
Give the example of Makueni, for instance.
Makueni, for instance. Now, for instance, you take a village setup, because the structure of the people's government starts from the village level, and you go to the cluster, and then you go to the ward level, and then the sub-county, which is a constituency level, and you have the county level. At all these levels, you have a representation of the people. These are drawn for various sectors. You have people from the education sector, from the society. It's the people themselves who will bring forth these persons, because they are within the community.
Right.
If it's in the agricultural sector, energy and all that, professionals, right? So at the village level, you have assemblies. Every Friday, the people gather in that assembly to state that these are the issues that we are having. These are the issues that we want the MP to address. These are the issues that we want the MCA to address. All right? If it's about the finance bill, the bill will be brought to these assemblies. The people's governments will vote. So the MP will go to represent his constituency, whom have already had a chance to interact with either the finance bill or whatever other document that there is. But right now, there is no structured system of direct representation. In your estate where you stay, you have the associations. Those are now what will form the village assemblies, the associations for the estates. When they sit, they deliberate. Now the MCA will come to sit
in the residence
in those associations, in those assemblies, and pick the views from the people and tell them, hey, Bwana MCA, we want this toilet, a road here, a school there, a hospital here. So when he goes to the county assembly, he goes to implement the needs of the people. It is a turnaround. It's a very revolutionary way of doing of structure of governance.
So
right?
there's been a concern on the public participation. Sorry?
Yes, because there's no public participation that is done currently. What the county governments do, they book a hall, put some budget there for people to eat. They know what they want, the outcome. So they just put you there in a room for purposes of saying they did a public participation. But that is not public participation.
Bob, does this need to be a constitutional structure?
It has to be.
Can it not just be statutes?
It cannot
establish
a
law.
For instance, in Makueni, in Makueni today, with a new governor, when he came in, he did not sustain the previous system which Governor Kivuda had put. And that's why we're saying we need to put it as part of our system and structure of governance.
What if Kivuda had taken it to the county assembly and made it Makueni County?
It will only apply in Makueni County. How about Tana River? How about Kisumu?
So take it to the National Assembly.
No, we
and make a public participation law that creates this structure and says that this is how public participation should happen.
You see, for resources to be allocated to that structure, it cannot be by an act of parliament, because we are now restructuring the form of government. And when you're restructuring the form of government, you have to do it through a popular initiative, either through a parliamentary initiative, through a referendum, or a popular initiative. Right? Secondly, we also want to enhance devolution further to the people's governments, right? Take more resources to the counties, perhaps even reduce the number of counties. You cannot do this as an act of parliament, only through a popular initiative. We saw BBI was there, Punguza Mzigo was there. It means that there is need for constitutional amendments. That's why these initiatives have been coming up. The reason why they have not succeeded is because perhaps for technical reasons. BBI was funded by the state, so it was stopped in court. Punguza Mzigo was a political issue which was stopped at the county assemblies level, right? Eric, the only other avenue, if not a referendum, will be a revolution. The only other avenue, if not through a referendum, will be a popular uprising. And I'd rather Kenyans sit together and do what we call a dialogue than we go the Sudan way or the Egypt way.
Okay.
Yes.
People's government is one. What's the other thing that you're pushing for in the popular initiative?
Representation. We want to relook at the issue of representation, both in government in its entirety, how we can have more inclusion of different sectors. For instance, the youth, the Gen Zs now. We are coming up with a system. We have proposed a system, an electoral system that is different from the current one, whereby we are talking of a system that will ensure there is gender balance automatically, all right? A system that will ensure that persons with disabilities, the youth, are also included in the elective process of this country by affirming them, right? So like you'll find what we are suggesting is that, like in Nairobi County, let me say Kajiado East, where you have, Kajiado County, you have 5 constituencies. We're proposing to have a joint ticket such that if you have persons with disability on the same ticket with the youth, either of them from either gender, right? So automatically you don't need to come and nominate people because on the ticket is a balanced ticket, all right? So the political parties will be presenting a ticket that is unified. If it's women rep, the youth representative is a man, there's a women rep, right? Then you have a PWD, right? And there's a PWD, there's a youth rep, there's a women rep, and there's a man, a ticket of 4. So automatically you balance out the issue of gender, right? And you solve the problem of representation. There are other issues that people have. For instance, there is a 1 man, 1 shilling issue. It's something that we think should be brought back to book. How do we have an equitable sharing of resources in this country whereby everybody is included? I think that's a conversation that should continue. And because we are collecting signatures based on a general suggestion. There are two ways you can collect signatures, either on a draft bill or on a general suggestion. So for us, we went the general suggestion direction so that after we have the 1 million signatures plus, we shall convene what we are calling a people's dialogue for the people now to engage with our proposals. After that is when we shall do the draft bill and present it to the IBC together with the signatures.
I see clarity on the representation. I want to trust that we, at least each of us, have been in barazas or kampunjis where you'd hear at least one of the Kenyans or two say they feel overrepresented in whichever way. We've also had, different voices, experts say we have, like you said, not a bad constitution, a good constitution, including members of parliament who have argued that the problem is we have an expensive constitution based on the number of people we employ and we have to pay.
The wage bill.
Yeah, the wage bill, etc. And I'm curious to understand, as you come up with this new representation that will be inclusive, do you think then that you will be able to cater to a solution to the over-representation or our constitution being expensive based on these positions? Or what really are you going to be doing differently that will not be adding to what some have termed the problem? All right, because you've talked about gender balance automatically. I'm very curious, really, how automatic that would be. Yeah. Or are you also thinking of scrapping off some representative positions to, fuse in or, merge them to one? Maybe a little bit of detail on the representation part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the proposal rather is actually to reduce the overall number of representatives. Right, so that we don't have to go to the nominations, because when you nominate is when you increase the numbers into parliament. So we come up with a system that does not require people to nominate into parliament. And how is that? What we were doing is that we were looking at the county. For example, Kajiado County has 5 constituencies, right? It means it has 5 members of parliament, right? So of these 5, you allocate as per gender. If you have 5, then you have a youth representative, has to be on that ticket. Then you have a PWD on the same ticket. You have a women, like the women rep, on the same ticket, and you have youth, PWD, and a male, men, okay? So if you are political party X, you have a joint ticket of 4 on the same ballot paper. Now, if somebody chooses, say, ODM, for instance, the ODM ticket will carry a youth, a woman, a male, and a PWD, all balanced. So in that county, will be represented by a uniformed number of people. You'll have a balance of gender automatically. You don't need to nominate.
But these are 4 different individuals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So just to
you're voting for a party?
Yes.
Not for an individual anymore?
Yes. It's a party ticket.
Because currently what you do is you go and you choose you select a name.
Yes.
Right? Whether people have been nominated by parties, so you find on the ballot.
No, it has to be a joint ticket for it to balance.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you do it separately, you end up with the same imbalance. So you can't apply the same formula and expect the same results. You have to change the formula. That is a proposal which Kenyans will have to, and it's the good thing about the referendum we are proposing, is a multiple choice referendum.
Okay.
Where Kenyans will be able to say no to this and yes to this. Before, they used to have one yes or no blanket referendum. I think that was cleared out by the Supreme Court petition for the BBI, when the judges ruled that you can actually have a multiple choice referendum. So if the issue is not popular with the people, they will just vote no. But if it is popular with Kenyans, they will then pass it through the referendum. That is the strategy. And by so doing, you're keeping a balance and also sanitizing the process at the same time.
The government, including, I think, very in top governance positions, have spoken on communication, and some people have said Kenyans are equally stubborn when it comes to change, as is expected in every social setup. I'm curious on how you're going to win the hearts of these Kenyans. And looking at the population that came out during the protests, I don't know if we're convinced enough in terms of sensitization, because you're saying people power, yeah? People lies with the, but we also saw certain activists who have also taken to social media and said, I have so many of you following me on social media, but when it's time to physically see you in action, I see none. Drop off the bus early enough. Such conversations are coming up. So these are the same Kenyans that you're looking to make understand this new governance initiative. I'm just curious to understand the plan of engagement. All right. Yes. And if you're convinced enough, because, including civic education, etc., funding is important. So how are you going to engage that woman in the grassroots? You've been referring to Kajiado, Turkana, Samburu, to, be in line with this vision that you have for the country. So it doesn't look like a central thing for the free movement only, and then you sprinkle it out to Kenyans. How are you going to involve us?
First, we are partnering with various Free Kenya Movement is a consortium of various civil society organizations, trade unions, welfare associations, professional organizations. We have political parties, representatives within the movement. So we have a resource, a human resource, a very rich human resource. The social justice movements alone, like, for example, the one led by Happy Olal, has tentacles across the entire country, right? Whether it's the Dandora social justice movement, Kibera. So we are part of the NCCPA, which is the National Coalition Committee of the People's Assembly. I'm one of the leaders in it. So through this organizations, they have embraced the referendum, right? So they are using that. We're using that platform for civic education. We're also relying heavily on social media. We have groups across the country which are linked online that we share and disseminate information. We're also going now for the town hall meetings, which we shall be beginning soon. All right, going to different regions across the country to share what we have in the referendum, to tell the people what it means to them and how it's going to change their day-to-day lives. One of the issues we are pushing very hard has been the abolishing taxes on basic and essential commodities. We have listed 15 items that we want to directly enact a law as the people to safeguard the people from overtaxation. We have listed petrol, kerosene, diesel, unga of ugali, unga of chapati, water, electricity, some of these 15 items that we want to...
so the people to bypass parliament?
Yes,
and to vote
the people are sovereign.
To create...
The people are sovereign.
To create the laws directly.
Yes, and we are saying on these 15 items, the government should never touch them. You can tax anything else, but don't touch these items. And we are making that law as a people.
Okay.
Because our representatives have failed. So
does our constitution allow us to have does the constitution allow us to have these constituent assemblies? The ones you're creating?
The people's government.
That's a constituent assembly. Does our constitution
That's
allow
the amendment that he's pushing.
The constitution allows, but it has not created a framework how.
So what you're doing is creating a framework.
We are creating a structure of government that we wanted to be part of this structure of the current government and to be given 10% of the national government resources to operationalize the people's government so that they can be able to undertake the functions which they're meant to do. All right, so for there to be resources funding the governments, there has to be legislation.
Yes.
And we are changing the structure of government, so they cannot do it by an act of parliament. It has to be through a popular initiative.
I now understand why the government is after you.
Thank you. Now you know.
27 minutes to 9. Bob Njagi, the founder and chairperson of Free Kenya Movement, is our guest. As we take this break, remember 3,000 shillings worth of airtime could be yours at the end of this show, courtesy of Safaricom Home Fibre. Safaricom Home Fibre increased better speeds on all the packages from the bronze package 2,999 to the toppest one, platinum. Okay, all of them you have increased speeds because Safaricom has invested more on their redundancy networks. Previously they had, if this one goes down, we have this one that can come up. Now they've increased it. This one goes down, this one can come up, and this one can come up, and this one can come. Speeds mainly. So they have increased speeds, and you don't have to pay an extra shilling. You don't even have to apply at if you want more speed, please fill up this form. Nothing. Automatically, if you're on bronze, you get more speeds. If you're on silver, you get more speeds. If you're on gold, you get more speeds. Now, what we want you to do so that you can win 3,000 shillings worth of airtime is send us a screenshot of your latest payment for your renewal of your package, or you can subscribe today. Just dial *400#, pick a package, and if you subscribe today and send us that screenshot, you could also win 3,000 shillings, courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber.
Is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Kenya, are you ready? Crank up the volume and buckle up in style. The Digger Motor Show 2024 is back. Talk of shiny, slick new models, accessories, and financial services from top brands. Side-by-side timeless classics that will make your heart race. Vintage or cutting edge, there is something here to get your engine revving. Get ready to test drive your automotive fantasies at the Sarit Center, happening from Thursday, October 24th to Sunday, October 27th, 2024. To participate, call Caroline on 0723-803-601 or email cnyandieka@standardmedia.co.ke. Digger Motor Show, the ultimate celebration of everything automotive.
Save money on your rising electricity bill with StarTime Solar Home Solution. We offer a complete home and commercial energy saving system that includes solar panels with 15-year warranty, lithium battery with 10 years warranty, and an inverter with 5 years warranty. StarTime Solar Home Solution is efficient, reliable, and safe to power essential appliances, complete home lighting, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, microwaves, iron box, instant shower, and entertainment devices, television, computers, Wi-Fi, and so much more. Say yes to reduced electricity bills and call us today on 0719-077-777 and get started on your green energy journey today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
The weather with SpiceFM.
It's warming up in Nairobi. It was 15 degrees earlier. It's now 17 in Nairobi. It's 26 in Mombasa. It's 28 in Malindi, 22 in Kisumu, 17 in Nakuru, 16 in Nyeri. It's all sunny everywhere. Sunny in Kakamega as well, 20. Sunny in Eldoret at 16. Johannesburg is sunny at 18. Kampala is sunny at 20. Kinshasa sunny at 24. Mostly cloudy in Lagos at 25, Mogadishu sunny at 28, 16 and sunny in Addis Ababa, Dar es Salaam 26 and sunny, Paris cloudy at 13, London 11 and cloudy, New York clear skies at 12, and Beijing sunny at 19.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. SpiceFM.
Spice up your life.
Happy Mazingira Day. There's no traffic today. People are at home. People are, chilling and taking their day slowly and easily. Probably in the next 1 hour is when the people start coming out to go and plant trees. Hoping that you had booked your seedlings yesterday, so you're only going to pick your seedlings today. Or maybe you picked your seedlings yesterday. But even if you haven't done any of those things, just go look for a seedlings place, pick a seedling, go plant a tree. So let's regreen our country. It's important that we do that.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
22 minutes to 9. We continue our conversation with Bob Njagi. We'll open up the phone lines for you to just talk to him for a little bit. 0719-012-600. Bob, the life of an activist is one that is, full of ups and downs, and no appreciation for the most parts, but the many people who see you doing the things that you're doing get to a point where they expect you to do it. We've seen people who have expressed frustration. Boniface Mwangi at some point saying, you know what, guys, look, I get up, I go, my children are not sure whether they'll see me at the end of the day. My wife is not sure whether she's with me at the end of the day. And yet, you people, when I come and say I'd like to vie for a seat, you tell me, kijana ni sawa, lakini wewe chama yako atini chama
gani? Ni gani? Wao ndio wanasimamia nini?
Inamaanisha?
Fanya hivi, wewe endelea tu na hiyo kazi unafanya.
And these frustrations, come and go every day. I'm sure you face the same as a person who has chosen to be very, very active in politics, even when you're in a political party and now in the movement as an activist, Free Kenya movement, you face the same. We are seeing the same. You quoted Anki Doris earlier. Morara Kebaso has been ranting, so to speak, directly, actually calling it as it is. He's been ranting on social media, saying he's now feeling unappreciated. He thought there were so many people who follow him on social media are with him in every second of the day, and now he's wondering what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is going through some phase. If you also think about Kasma Mokore, he got to a point where he said, you know what, I have looked at what's happening and I've seen, let me go and sit at the feet of Raila Odinga. I will learn, and through him, I'll be able to achieve what I think the direction we need to take. As somebody who's been there for long, and you're seeing these young people who'd come out in the Gen Z movement and they're already expressing frustration, what do you tell them?
First, I would encourage them, because it's not easy for them to come out and stick their neck out. Their peers are somewhere having fun, but they've chosen to live that kind of a lifestyle. It's not easy. I think what they don't know, the young generation, is the tricks that the current system uses to subdue, to change them, to change their thinking. When the protest began, we had so many young people coming out as seemingly leaders, because they have a big following online and otherwise. But as days went on, you could see some of them taking photos with government officials, which means they've already been compromised. All right. It's unfortunate, because when I saw, like, for example, my friend Kasmal, we were with him in the same group, which I'm telling you, there's a coalition. He was actually, as a spokesperson, he was a spokesperson of that coalition, the NCCPA. And the following day, I saw him with the Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Former Prime Minister.
My guess was that then he has already betrayed the cause.
Why?
Because of a picture?
The Prime Minister took advantage of the Gen Z protest to position himself and his party through the NADCO report in a pre-arranged broad-based, what they're calling the broad-based government. The Gen Zs went to the streets to call for good governance and accountability, not for a change, not to have the ODM leadership take over and form a government with this current administration that we believe should not be in power even today, has already failed. So Kasmuel was a representation, was one of the people who are representing the face of the Gen Zs. And so for him to go to seemingly work with the former Prime Minister, I think in the face of the majority of the young people, they've seen this as a betrayal to their cause. Yes, from what I perceive, politics is about perception. And the moment you're seen associating with somebody, I think it shows that is the opposition, is the former opposition leader or the current? I'm not sure, because he's neither in government nor out. We're not sure what to say. Because right now, we don't have an opposition.
Is it?
Right? No, we don't have an opposition.
But
the opposition now is Kenyans,
Bob,
the people.
Bob,
is it?
You've been in the trenches for years,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I'm sure by now you have gotten to a point where you see, you may, in some instances, just walk for some few kilometers with the enemy, just to get closer to the destination that you're seeking, right? Because the enemy has the means to transport you from point A to point B, or whatever case. Or because this is, at least whatever the enemy is doing, is leading 80% towards the destination that you seek to arrive at. This may not necessarily be betrayal. It may be tactful, it may be realization. Like I said, we have seen it many times.
If he was going to discuss issues, perhaps he would have gone with a team of other Gen Zs. That's what I'm saying. He went alone. Even myself right now, as the chairman of the Free Kenya movement, if I'm called even by the president of this country to discuss issues like such as this popular initiative, I would not go on my own.
But you would go?
You would go, would you?
I would go with the blessings of the collective, of the people whom we represent. That this is an issue that we need to engage government on this issue, because government is not for Ruto. Government belongs to all Kenyans, including those who oppose the government. You have a right even to be employed in government, even if you oppose the same government, because the government is not for Ruto, it's for the people. And the people include those who criticize and those who support the system. I think it's only in Kenya we have it wrong, that once you're in government, anybody who opposes you should not be part of government. It's a wrong.
It's an enemy.
It's an enemy. That's not how it should be. After the elections, we're supposed to put our differences aside and look at the best people who can lead the country. Yes, and I think that's where the Gen Zs were saying we want a merit-based society, not a tribal-based society. Yes.
The last I checked, and I stand to be corrected, the Gen Zs were leaderless?
Yes,
tribeless?
yes.
Leaderless?
Yeah, so partyless. Partyless now.
Partyless?
We are independent. This movement is independent. And that's why we were in sync with the Gen Zs, because we are also... Partyless means independent.
Okay.
All right? We went in... I vied for Member of Parliament as an independent in the last election. And we formed a coalition of independents under the Free Kenya movement, where we're supporting all other independents. Unfortunately, IEBC came with very bad laws towards the elections. And they required independent candidates to produce photocopies of IDs of their supporters alongside the signatures before they can be incorporated into the ballot. We as the Free Kenya movement went to the High Court and we challenged the Elections Act of 2012. Justice Mrima declared that guidelines as unconstitutional, null and void. Chebukati was supposed then to include independent candidates on the ballot, including presidential candidates, Akina Kigame, and so many others. None of them got to the ballot as a result of that law. Because IBC went to the Court of Appeal to appeal the ruling of the High Court. They got a stay order, and up to today, 2024, they've never appealed. Up to today, they've never put an appeal. Yet they blocked presidential candidates from accessing the ballot. And we have a case that we won. That's where they're taking me. You know, because even in the next election, the same law will apply.
You know, Bob, there's something when you're talking about...
And as we speak, the Court of Appeal has refused, because we have done an application to the Court of Appeal for them now to reverse the stay, execution of stay, so that the High Court ruling can be enforced, and thereafter remedies can take place. First and foremost, reparations for those people who are locked out of the ballot as a result of this law, which you appealed and have never appealed. 2, assuming we have a new IBC tomorrow and we have by-elections, it means the independent candidates will still be subjected to the same laws as a result of the stay. So these are serious issues that people don't know about. And we are pushing this on public interest.
Bob,
on public interest.
There's something I want you to consider. When you say you find individuals who declared they were Gen Zs, some who were leaders, and then some were seen visiting individuals who it is said are in bed with the government, others were seen taking pictures. And what then was concluded that these people had essentially defected. What I need to consider is this: what makes you think that they were ever with you? What makes you think that from the very beginning they were actually supporters of the government? I'm simply saying that when a movement is as big as yours, how do you know exactly where everyone that you have there stands? Because the government being what it is, and a government like ours, given how it has functioned from colonial times to now, one of the things it does very well is infiltrate groups like yours.
Sure.
And infiltrate it effectively.
At the same time, City, I also see it at different, similar, but also I veer off in some areas where people are different. The same thing they were saying, Gen Z should form a party. They cannot form a party. They are not a homogeneous group. There are people who are divergent views and divergent approaches.
But they have agreed that they're partyless.
Yeah, and they've already said that they're partyless.
So why would one go to form a party like Morara But and the Gen Zs are telling him we are partyless. I think it's those who are partyless don't have to join that party.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing. People have said we are partyless when we are coming out. We are not coming out for these protests representing any political party or any political party ideal. Yes. And we are finished with the issue of the finance bill. That doesn't mean that we shall remain partyless. We shall never join a party. We shall always just remain free and there are people who may decide that, you know what, I think. Do we need a political party? I think I can organize. Do we need a political party to have change? There are people who may organize, like yourselves, as this collective, and you call yourselves NCCAP. There are people who don't look at NCCAP and see it as representative enough. Yeah. Others may think that a political party may be a vehicle. Others may think that joining an existing political party, I can join ODM, I can join Jubilee, I can join NARC Kenya, I can join KANU. They can join. You know, the reason why the Gen Zs have rejected the political parties is because of the structure of the same political parties. In fact, we need political party reforms in this country more than we need police reforms. And you can do that by joining the parties and enforcing them. Inside out. Let me tell you, I've been to those parties at the highest level. I was a NEC member of ODM for 9 years. The way the political structure has been engineered, you cannot change it. You see, you know that because you've been in there. You cannot change the structure as it is, I'm telling you. You know that because you've been in there. Those who haven't don't know it. That's why I was like, what is he going to do there?
And I'm also curious. I wanted to say two things here. And I appreciated when Latiff said people are different. Now, there is a Kenyan. Me, Anki, Doris, I'm a Kenyan. I'm not in any political party, neither am I moving any movement. Okay, moving any movement, okay.
No, but big statement, that one.
Yeah. But I have my own views, and there are things I can do a petition, I think. Yeah. If I want to petition any particular, yes, as Anki, I don't need to be in your movement to do that, right? Sure. If, for example, these activists you're associating with the Gen Zs are acting in their personal capacity, they have not said, I am I'm going to meet this particular leader as a representation of the Gen Zs. They're doing it in their right as a Kenyan. Individual capacities in the vision and what they think aligns with what they believe in as who they are. Why would it be interpreted as compromised personalities at that point in time? That's question number one. Number two, I seek to understand how you are the chair of a movement. Then it means that there are people around you. You have a structure within your movement. And even as you speak in here, a Kenyan in the grassroots that doesn't understand the difference between you as a chair of a movement and Raila Odinga as a leader of a party. What's the difference, though? If not the little monies that you get as a political party, which you do not get, what is different in your structure within your movement that is so different and your mobilization from what politicians are doing within their parties?
ODM is a movement, you know that?
Orange Democratic Movement, correct. And then registered as a party?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so what is the difference?
So the difference first is in the ideology. We are pushing a very radical, a very revolutionary ideology of people power. Okay? Secondly, the way we are structured, composed, the composition of the movement. A movement is not like a political party. A movement is organic. It's amorphous. We have representation from various sectors of the society. So we have people from the Nurses Association of Kenya. The president is there. You have people from the dentist, from the Doctors Association. We have people from the trade unions. They're there. They're giving us their issues. Okay, they're bringing their memorandums. This is what we want to change. And those people may even belong to political parties. Of course, yes. Individually. We have individuals from both even UDA under the Free Kenya movement. Because we are fighting collectively as a people towards a certain purpose that transcends beyond religion, transcends beyond tribe, transcends beyond political persuasions. Because when we talk about taxes, to abolish taxes on unga, it goes beyond any tribe, whether you're Muslim or Christian. When you're talking about reducing the cost of fuel, it affects all Kenyans unilaterally, whether you're in government or not. So the movement is more powerful because it encompasses the several sectors of society. A political party is people who are aligned to a particular political persuasion only.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't take views from the other side. In fact, if we were in different parties, like say now, for example, let me say X and Y, we would not be seated next to each other because of our political differences. But as an independent, I can sit with somebody, like I said, even in government, as long as we are discussing the issue that is collectively. So it's a unity of purpose. In brief.
You do know, Bob, that the very thing you're saying is what almost any party in this particular country would say at some point or the other. In fact, I was listening to it, I'm thinking, but it sounds very much like
sounds familiar.
No, it sounds like what ODM used to say. The only difference I hear in what you're saying is this. It's not a political party. You've allowed other people to join you in their capacity and the positions that they are in towards a common goal.
Yes.
So essentially, you are working towards a government of national unity.
Broad-based.
Yes.
Definitely, we are an alternative government.
Yes.
Not we are working towards.
Yes.
We are not in the opposition.
Yes.
We are calling ourselves an alternative government.
Yes.
And we are forming a coalition of progressive forces that will take over this country in the near future.
So essentially, we are saying that since the political leadership in this country is gotten through an election, that come 2027, you're positioning yourself to have people who will represent the movement
in all levels of governance.
Okay.
On the ballot?
Yes.
And the common thread is the common thinking.
From presidential.
Yes.
And the common thread is the common thinking.
Yes.
So they all have a common purpose.
Yes.
Okay. Those who will be vying under UDA, they'll all have common thinking, common purpose.
Correct.
So you're a party, they're a party. Just that you're not registered under the Political Parties Act.
You're independent.
You're a collective.
We're a
And that's the
collective.
same thing I was saying. The Gen Z in their millions cannot be in the same boat.
They won't be.
They will not be. You'll find those who have a different approach. Say, for example, the Inject Party, registered Morara Kebaso is among the leaders of that party, and they're saying, we are seeking a certain
We're not
thing.
a party. We're a movement.
Okay.
I want that to be very clear.
I completely get it.
Yes.
The Inject Party,
Yes.
right, that is pushing for a certain ideology.
Yes.
NAC Kenya, that has been there for many years and is pushing for a certain idea.
Sure.
And then you have a movement such as the Free Kenya movement that is pushing for a certain idea. And you have the social justice networks coming together as collective and they're pushing for a certain idea. It's all about organizing, politically organizing. None of them is better than the other, is worse than the other.
All right. Yeah.
True?
Bob, true?
Not true.
Okay.
Not true. Eric, first and foremost, we have cut ourselves out from the rest by so saying we're pushing for a new kind of leadership in the country. One that does not include those who have been in the leadership of this country for the past years, both in opposition and in government. Tunafagia wote. So it's revolutionary in its kind. And Eric, there is no other alternative. Unless you tell me of another alternative.
Bob, let me give you an
You're
example.
the alternative.
We are the alternative.
I want to give you an example, Bob. It wasn't a movement, it was a political party. Well, it began as a movement in those early days. I'm talking about ANC. Now,
South Africa.
Yes. And they came and forget. But in their case, the more things change, the more they remain the same. You see, that is always the problem.
Have you heard the others talking about a people's government? Have you heard of the other parties or the coalitions saying that we are going to initiate a new structure of government called the people's government?
No, we
It's
haven't.
a very clear distinction.
They don't use those same words, but they give the impression that they are doing something on behalf of the people.
For the best interest of the
That
people.
is still indirect representation.
But you are saying it directly.
Direct representation. That is a very clear ideological difference between us and them.
Okay.
Yes.
The time is up. But
Ideologically.
yes.
So the difference is ideological.
It's ideological.
Very good.
If
And
you're
also
not-
generational.
All right. I'm just curious. It's one of the reasons you're here. Your story. It's just it's giving me chills a bit. But how are you going to do it differently? Because this is not the first time we're seeing abductions. This is not the first government that's given us this, and time is up. But maybe in the next conversation, how will you do it differently? Because these are narratives we've heard over and over again. But of course, quick recovery psychologically for you. And thank you for being out here in the open to speak about it.
Can I tell Kenyans something? I would like every listener to kindly check our website. That's www.freekenya.co.ke. You can sign the referendum online. We are looking for 1 million signatures so that we can initiate progressive changes to this country, and we ask all Kenyans to support us in this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob Jage, chairman of the Free Kenya Movement. Lawrence Mushiri says, I love this guy.
I saw that.
9 a.m. news time.
It's now 9 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom. For just 2,000 bob a month, enjoy 17 GB data, 1,000 minutes, 2,000 SMSs, and free WhatsApp. Go monthly. Dial star 544 hash and select Go monthly. Safaricom is for you.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Ednah is calling on you to stay true to the cause of Mazingira Day that is being marked today by engaging in activities that promote a clean environment. In a statement, Duale said Mazingira Day is a crucial opportunity to accelerate environmental protection and raise awareness of the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss and pollution. The day, previously known as Moi Day, was renamed Utamaduni Day, then again changed to Mazingira Day after President William Ruto assented to the Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2024 on April 24th. The government has extended the medical insurance scheme for civil servants. This comes after a section of public sector unions issued a 14-day strike notice. Their concerns were transitioning from NHIF to SHA without the provision of a comprehensive cover, transitioning from NHIF to SHA without the transition of NHIF employees, and increased contributions to 2.75% of gross salary without any improved benefits. In a statement, the Ministry of Public Service extended the medical insurance scheme up to November 21st, 2024. SHA called on all the contracted service providers to ensure all beneficiaries of the scheme access the medical cover immediately. A complex surgery was successfully performed on a 10-year-old Emmanuel Karanja at Mbagathi Hospital in Nairobi. The boy was born with a troubling swelling on his right shoulder. For years, the growth composed of blood vessels and fatty tissue progressively enlarged, causing his mother deep concern as she sought help at various healthcare facilities. However, it was at Mbagathi Hospital that Emmanuel finally received a definitive diagnosis and treatment. Tests revealed that the mass was a complicated mix of large blood vessels and fat, requiring a delicate and highly specialized procedure. We wish Emmanuel quick recovery. Now, a lobby has petitioned the High Court challenging an agreement reached by the government with the Indian firm Standard Group for the construction of 3 transmission lines and 2 substations. The Commission for Human Rights and Justice says the due process was not followed prior to the public-private partnership agreement. It seeks to have the court issue an order directing KETRACO to conduct extensive public participation with regard to the agreement. The Commission has faulted the government over its failure to publicly disclose the terms of engagement. Now, members of parliament have ordered a forensic audit of troubled Moi University in the face of myriad questions raised in the management of the institution. National Assembly's Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education wants Auditor General Nancy Gathungu to conduct a holistic audit of the institution and avail the report within 60 days. The audit, which focuses on criminality and fraud, goes back to 5 years. During the audit period, the committee also directed that the university freeze the implementation of new projects. The The Orange Democratic Movement National Youth League President John Ketora has been nominated to the National Assembly. Ketora's nomination was announced by the party's top leadership led by Deputy Party Leader and Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi, Siaya Governor James Orengo, ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and Kisumu Woman Representative Ruth Odinga. They said Ketora's nomination to Parliament was executed following Finance S. John Mbadi's appointment to the broad-based government. And Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Salim Mvurya has rooted for increased trade among countries. Addressing an African Continental Free Trade Area meeting in Kigali, Rwanda, Mvurya noted that less than 17% of Africa's export are intracontinental compared to 59% in Asia and 69% in Europe. Present at the event were Rwandan President Paul Kagame, Secretary General of the AFCFTA, Wamkele Mene, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini, Russell Dlamini, Prime Minister of Grenada, Dixon Amis Thomas Michel, and former President of Niger and AFCFTA champion Mahamadou Issoufou. Now, AFCFTA creates a single continental market for goods and services in Africa. It further aims to reduce trading problems such as different regulations from one African country to the other. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
No traffic. See, I'm telling you, it's holiday. It's a public holiday. No traffic at all. So all the roads are basically just looking okay. They're good. Even Kipande Road is good. Even Landis Road is all right. Even Jogoo Road, as you get into the city roundabout, it's fine. Mombasa Road, it's fine. Just get out, go plant a tree. Tafadhali.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's 7 after 9. How are you doing? Welcome to the final hour of Kenya's biggest conversation. Happy Mazingira Day. It's let's go and plant a tree, okay? Make sure that you take time today, go plant a tree. It's important. As you do whatever you're doing today, also please do not forget to download and start using the Loop. It is beautiful. It's orange in color. You have it looking very nice on your mobile phone. You know, right there. Look at that. Look at that. Ankidori. Look at that. Can you see the L?
Oh, the orange.
So it's beautiful. See now?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. L for Loop or L for lifestyle?
L for both.
L for both. Lovely. L for lovely.
L for everything. Once you download it, the process of registration is actually very, very simple. They just ask you for your name, for your ID, for your email address, for your telephone number. They'll verify a couple of things. They'll send you, for example, a link on your email, and you click on that so to verify. Then they'll tell you, using your camera, the camera on your phone, just take a photo of the front side of your ID, the back side of your ID. It captures that. And why are they doing that? Because it is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. You are opening an account, and it's therefore important that you actually get these official documentation. It's simple, straightforward like that. Once you capture, then it immediately links up to the National Registration Bureau. It notices, yes, this is Ankidoris. So ni sawa. Sasa serikali inajua uko na account. Now you can start using your account. You get there. Bills and subscriptions, you can pay all of them. My bills, you can pay airtime, entertainment, electricity. You want to do some quick pay, you can deposit, you can pay by code, you can scan to pay, you can send money. You can send money in many ways. You can check your balance. You can pay to multiple people. You can link cards. Like if you have a card that you'd like to link, you can link. You can even open several wallets in the Loop app. So say because you are running a business, you want to have several wallets in there. You have a wallet that you just want to be there for operating expenses. You have another wallet that this one, I want to make sure that by the 20th, I have paid my VAT, the VAT that I've collected from my clients. Put some money in there so that you, all those things, it organizes your life. So you're there, you have this one lifestyle, it organizes your life back to forth, front to back.
All around.
All around. It's a loop, like City said. Loop is what? It begins to the end.
And then from the beginning, get to the end, and then
takes you back
to the beginning again. That's a loop.
Very good. Very good. Our next guest is an advocate of the High Court. His name is Francis Wajiko. Mr. Wajiko, good morning.
Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Very well.
We saw what you did there,
Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Asante sana. It has been a long time waiting. I've only been a fan, but today I'm the one on the hot seat.
Very good.
Oh, karibu sana.
Allah.
Karibu sana. Karibu.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Yes.
Why the name Wanjiko?
Mimi ni mtoto wa single mother. I'm a son of a single mother. Miss Wanjiko is in Eldoret, a constituency called Ainabkoi. That is one of the richest constituencies in this country because sisi ni watu wa mulima wa hiyo side ingine. Not these other mulima that we are talking about today. But
so she named you Wanjiko.
She named me Wanjiko.
Beautiful.
And just like my member of parliament Kawanjiko.
Her name is Wanjiko.
Yes.
Maiden name.
So she didn't give you the. So Wanjiko is now your surname.
My surname, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What did she name you?
In court they call me Njoroge.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it.
Yes.
The one that, so the mother called you Wanjiko.
Yes.
Just because she's a single mother, you know?
No, but people name children after themselves. Yes.
What if okay, I won't go there, but Latiff.
Yeah, you'd have to actually go beyond that. Because Wanjiko
what's wrong with me?
Wanjiko is a girl's name. So you have to understand, why would your mother call you, give you a girl's name? It can't just be just.
There has to be more.
There has to be more than
that. If I have a reason, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But now we get it.
Nah.
Right? His surname.
I'm enlightened.
It's his mother's name. Okay. Francis Wanjiko, welcome.
Asante.
City will give you the day's proverb, but before he does that, we are giving away 3,000 shillings courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber. 3,000 shillings worth of airtime. You know the Home Fiber, Francis, right?
Yes.
People use Safaricom Home Fiber and people just take these things for granted. You're at home, you are watching, your children are using their tablets and their gadgets, your spouse is on something else, you are streaming this and the other, and all of you are just using Wi-Fi. Your nephews and nieces come visiting and the first thing they're, Uncle, what's our Wi-Fi password? We've gotten used to these things that we assume it's always been like that. It hasn't. It hasn't. And now it's part of our life. So Safaricom Home Fiber has increased the amount of speed that you get in whatever package you've subscribed for. Whether it's a bronze package all the way to the platinum package, you get more speeds. And it's good speed. Safaricom is also telling you, because we are countrywide, we have a very, very vibrant and active call center. Anytime you have an issue, whether it's about payment, your payment is not reflecting, whether it's about slow speeds and you're feeling like, you know what, this thing is not working as fast as it should, whether it's actually about outage completely, you can call 400 and you'll have somebody on the other end and they will pick up, they'll walk you through it, they'll tell you whether it's a problem that can be solved, immediately, they'll solve it. If it's something that requires further technical assistance, they'll send a team to come and sort you out free. If you're moving from this house to the next one and you're thinking, Sasa Hawa, now I need to move. Shall I leave my Safaricom Home Fiber here? Now what happens is that? Just call them and tell them, guys, I'm moving next weekend. They'll be like, don't worry, we'll be there. They'll come, they'll move with you. They'll only carry their gadgets to your house. These are things where would you sort. Si ati watakuja na pick up, kubebea mizigo. Hiyo sio kazi ya Safaricom. 3,000 shillings if you pay today to renew your subscription for this month and you send us a screenshot of that, we could pick you as the winner of 3,000 shillings worth of airtime. If you subscribe by dialing star 400 hash today and you pick a subscription and you subscribe and you pay, send us that screenshot. We will also put you in those who stand a chance of winning 3,000 shillings. We'll announce a winner at the end of this hour. CT, what's the day's proverb?
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week are from the Kingdom of Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Fill his stomach and he will forget his country. Simple, straightforward.
Fill his stomach and he will forget his country.
Mm-hmm.
Wakili, what's your interpretation of this proverb?
What I've understood is if you want to know how easy it is to bribe or to bribe a man to forget his cause, give him something, whether monetary, whether beneficial to his interest, but the moment M-Pesa message imeingia, he will forget about the cause that he was standing for. And I think we have seen that a lot the last couple of weeks. Yes, we have seen individuals where they have changed their stance. So I think CTE yako ijatoka Morocco.
You're the second person to say it.
Yes.
Yes, and I actually had to go to the archives and tell him, actually, this particular proverbs from Morocco, I prepared them on the 8th of April this year. So it isn't as though I looked and said, okay, what's happening in the country? Then went to Proverbs of Morocco and said, this one will fit us perfectly.
But I wonder, City, so what is this proverb? Is this proverb warning us or cautioning us? Don't fill their stomach.
It's telling us about a human condition and how it is that human beings tend to behave.
Don't be surprised.
No, do not be
way.
surprised at all, and please don't even get angry.
Okay.
That is what is bound to happen.
So to save yourself from the disappointment, don't fill their stomach.
No, don't. Or ensure that the filling of their stomach
comes after they have delivered.
Or it is tied to so many conditions that they'll be very, very careful. One, about filling their stomach, and B, meeting the obligation. You see, all these stories we keep talking about here regarding accountability. By the way, man, we've been talking about this accountability for a long time in this place. Whoa. Oh, yes. Social contract, But you see, those who are in power keep fighting back.
Right.
They make sure that they fight back to the point where they even change the laws.
I'm actually thinking of the Abraham's, is it law, the pyramid, and satisfaction. And, I'm thinking maybe deeper. But we work to achieve something. If I get to, there's a word for it, to be rewarded, or I get the reward before I actually put in the work, I get to relax anyway. Because seemingly there's nothing motivating me to move beyond or go farther. Is that human nature? Or is it that some of us are just easily compromised and choose the easier way? What is really happening? Or are we just selfish, as the book would say, the religious book would say?
We tend to be. Human beings, we actually tend to be not just selfish, but self-seeking.
Self-seeking.
Yes. Okay. It's the socialization that perhaps injects in us this understanding of consideration for others. You only need to look at a child and the demands that a toddler places. Their reactions are based on what they need, and at that tender age, it's food. And how they respond and how it is. They're even hot-wired to blackmail you. Children, I'm talking about children.
Yeah, they do.
They're even hot-wired to understand when it is that they need to smile, because that will bring about a certain response. When it is important to yell, they understand all this. The only problem is when they carry that on to adulthood, it gets a bit tiring. But human beings are just what they are.
Okay.
Yes.
Wakili, I know that Latiff will take us through it, but I'm curious though. I'm seeing you smiling, he's just moving his head that way, that way, this way, that way. But Wakili, I'm curious because you said this proverb might not really be originating from Morocco. But just bring us back home as to why you think. Well, you didn't finish the statement. You didn't say whether you thought it comes from Kenya, Tanzania. Why did you say it's probably not from Morocco? Is it probably from where and why?
I had thought before Before I was corrected. I thought this one was written just after Bomas, the public participation after Bomas.
It wasn't a correction. I was augmenting your statement.
You know, and this is something you have pointed out about the social contract in Kenya. And we always like to talk about Chapter 6 of the Constitution to do with leadership and integrity, and also Article 10 to do with transparency, accountability, patriotism, rule of law. But what you notice at the end of the day, we created a rule for the leaders. We did not create a rule for Kenyans. So are these values and principles for Kenyans really, or are these principal values for politicians? And as you said, human beings are self-centered and selfish, but when you put a rule for the others and you don't put the same rule for yourself, it also means you are also selfish when making this constitution. Because how do you expect a politician to be patriotic, and yet many of us, including myself, will take a course of action that is unpatriotic in nature? When sometimes when people call us go to the streets, I might tell myself, okay, maybe I'm a millennial, I'm past the Gen Z stage, let me stay back at home. Or maybe I'm a middle class, I'm not affected so much by this, so let me stay at home. That is very unpatriotic. So one of the mistakes we did as a country 14 years ago, we created a rule for the upper echelon. So while we are complaining here that these people are changing the laws, they're changing, no. They want to mirror what is good for them to be good for us, or what is good for us to be also good for them.
I don't get it at all. I don't get it. You're saying the Constitution was made to favor those in leadership?
No. It was meant to press them, to abide to a certain standard.
But that's it, yes. What's wrong with that?
But Eric, myself and yourself are not abiding to the same standard.
But the Constitution also binds us to those the same.
As the sovereign, don't you think that the Constitution is actually addressing us? Because it is from the sovereign that we get these political leaders.
I see what you're saying. For example, leadership and integrity. That anybody who holds a position of leadership, this is how you shall behave. That if you're in a position of leadership, you shall be accountable to the people. So basically, it's like trying to put a leash on those in leadership. But that's the whole principle of a constitution, isn't it? To make sure that those in leadership are actually accountable to the people. It's a covenant between the people and their rulers and their governors and their leaders. But at the same time, the Constitution then also addresses the citizen and gives the citizen responsibilities as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does, absolutely.
Go out and vote, hold these guys to account. You can petition like this, like that.
Yeah, but then when we talk about leadership, we have assumed in Kenya, and we've interpreted leadership to mean political leadership.
Oh, wow, that's deep. City.
And that is just about the narrowest definition that you can ever think of if you're using the term leadership. And the reason is because our politics is genuinely in our face. Everything that we do in this country revolves around politics. How many weeks, days now has this matter of the deputy president been front center
of everyone's conversation?
We've forgotten everything else. We've forgotten cost of living. We are not even talking about, we have forgotten Adani. We have forgotten whatever else we're talking about before. We've forgotten. It's surely. And some Kenyans have been asked the question, okay, now, so when we impeach this guy, these are the things that we're talking about. Will they also be fixed? See? And even that particular sentiment is lost. Why? It's like we are hot-wired to respond to political issues. It comes up. Deer to headlight. We just sort of stand still. And not our attention, our being is captured by it. And this is what we are.
I can give you an example where there is one rule for us and one rule for them.
Okay.
When the Shah law was before the Senate, I think this was either late last year or early this year, the Senate held its public participation in Lodwar. The only public participation the Senate held was in Lodwar. it was called Senate Mashinani. You know the role of the Senate, and one of them is to protect counties. It's to protect devolution. Healthcare is a devolved function in this country. When Rigathi Gachagua is being impeached, this motion got to Mama Mboga. Mama Mboga was given a note to say whether they support the impeachment motion or not in at least most of the counties and most of the constituencies. Why is it that the Republic of Kenya and the people of Kenya feel that the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua is more important than a law that will change the healthcare of this country?
But the people of Kenya have not said they feel that way.
But we voted for these people. We voted for these senators.
So
we
what
voted
makes you think? Okay.
Yeah, we signed. Rigathi showed us that we signed a power sharing agreement saying that we are going to give the Senate Speaker a seat and the National Assembly Speaker a seat based on his votes. So their negotiating power is based on how much they can convince us. So the Deputy President referred Parliament as a theatre of absurd, the theatre of the absurd. He fell short of calling them clowns. That is the only thing he fell short of, because that's what he meant. But I think because he's a member of Parliament, he cannot use such words in Parliament.
Oh, really? We've had certain words in Parliament. Worse than that one. I do not know which Parliament you're referring to, but I'll remain modest.
That example that you've given, all right, so it was the choice of the National Assembly to conduct this particular public participation this way, all right? And the expectation of the Constitution is that there shall be public participation. There's no decision that Parliament will make on a law on such a major issue without consulting the citizens, all right? So already the structure is saying that you shall not do anything without consulting the people. Now, how you do it has been an issue. That's why matters have gone to court. And they've been told this Finance Act of 2023 unconstitutional, inadequate public participation, and so on and so forth, because of lack of adequate and sufficient public participation. So even when they are performing this way, it's just them continuing with their bad manners. It is not because the law has told them when you're impeaching a deputy president, you shall go to 47 counties. But when you're passing a law on healthcare, you shall only go to one area. The law has not told them that. It is their bad manners. Those that have gone to court to challenge the implementation of Shif and Shah are challenging on the grounds as well, again, of public participation. So let's not conflate and confuse issues. The bad manners of those in political leadership does not mean that they have been sanctioned by the law. And that's why people go to the court to say they are operating outside of what the provisions of the law are.
And that is true. And you are taking me to the impeachment motion of Rigathi Gachagua. If you look at it, basically what the MP is telling, the MP Mutuse is telling Kenyans is that Rigathi Gachagua has operated outside the law for a long time, for 2 years. And that's why he needs to get out. So can the same MPs who we are taking to court for 3-4 bills, the Privatization Act, the Shif and Shah Act, also the regulations, and the courts have already said, including the High Court, they have already said these MPs, including the CDF, in fact.
They've acted unconstitutionally.
They have acted unconstitutionally. They are in violation of the law. Can these same men and women be the judge of Rigathi Gachagua? Yes. I can give you an example. I watched the whole contribution of the National Assembly. Every member of Parliament speak. Let me just point out to two of them. One of them is Farah Maalim. You know the trouble in which Farah Maalim was a few months ago, and the words that he declared in front of the public, and the matter is still under investigation. The same man waking up that morning and saying, Rigathi must go. For there to be peace and cohesion in Kenya, Rigathi must go. these are the peers. This is what the Constitution, this is how the Parliament has interpreted the Constitution. These are the same men. The second example is MP from Gatondo, Gigi Kagombe. The MP is under investigation. I think he has already been charged with either murder or attempted murder for a shooting. The matter is still ongoing before a criminal court. The same man comes before the National Assembly and tells us that Rigathi Gachagua is the reason why there is no cohesion, there is no development, there is failure for the rule of law. How are these people supposed to be the judge of bad character?
Wakili, how are these people still serving in their capacity when they're under investigation? Does the law or the Constitution say anything? Because you're saying they should stop exercising their duty based on the investigations. Tell me then, is there a way the law also stops them from exercising this thing you are saying they shouldn't as they're investigated? Because, well, they are allowed by the law to still be in the house.
It is the bad character I talked about earlier, whereby there is a rule for them and there is a rule for us. When it comes to elections, we depend on IEBC, we depend on EACC, we depend on these, what we call agencies, to give you a certificate of good conduct. But for them, it's about paperwork. It's about, has this person ever been charged in court? Has this person ever been called out for corruption? But what about the social contract? What about where you go down and sit in your family and say, hey, our last born is misbehaving? That should be enough to put these people out of a parliamentary seat. So when you talk about a legal process like recalling an MP because he has shot someone in Gatondo or Thika, that will mean actually waiting for the process of the trial to conclude, so that this MP can be said to be guilty of a misconduct or an offense. Why aren't we giving Rigathi Gachagua the same benefit? Why aren't we going to court and telling the court Rigathi Gachagua was in violation of Article this of the Constitution? Can you give us a declaration that he is in violation of that law? The same way we do to Parliament, the same way we do to the President. What is the rush that we have come from a violation to gross violation? What is that rush? And we have had this argument before with judges.
Wakili, you know what, one of the things that is actually interesting about what you've just said,
yes.
The Deputy President was actually prophetic. He just didn't know. When he referred to Parliament as a theatre of the absurd, he did not know that the situation which we are now referring to as an absurdity would actually befall him. Because if you look at the origin of the theatre of the absurd, this was coined by a gentleman who was called Martin Esslin. The whole thinking behind it was, how do you show society for what it is? Its contradictions, the nonsensical notions that it has. So the theatre would bring about things which didn't make sense, but the idea was to provoke thinking so that you can understand. Now, the very things that our parliamentarians have been doing, if you look at them in totality, they actually do conform to theatres of the absurdity. They do. And what you've just described as the ongoings in Parliament, now that one now puts the icing on it completely. And when you ask the question, are these the men and women who actually are in a moral position to actually judge this person? Actually, in a theatre of the absurd, they are. Because what we're discussing is something nonsensical and something which actually is fairly logical and doesn't really make sense. But if we take hypocrisy as the foundation of the pillars on which we are basing the entire discussion, then we're perfectly all right. We're in the right direction because we've now enshrined hypocrisy. Look, I can say this today, say a different thing tomorrow. I can be this today, be a different thing tomorrow, and doesn't matter. And that is what we've been treated to for quite some time. The Deputy President was a prophet. He just didn't know that he was prophesying his own doom.
One of the things that you have highlighted and that came out really in Parliament during the discussion was the issue of development. And if you look at the impeachment motion, is that Rigathi Gachagua has what you'll call denied some parts of the country development. And the basis of this, and I am sure Eric and the team, you have hosted MPs during the budget making process. You have hosted MPs during the finance bill. You have hosted them during the discussion on appropriation. And the same MPs say, I went through the budget. I went through the estimates. I went through the government development plans. I went through the finance bill. I went through the appropriation bill. And we passed them in parliament. But the hindrance to this country's development is one man called Rigathi Gachagua. And one of the most respected members of parliament, Junet Mohammed, he made a statement that, how did Rigathi Gachagua renovate the deputy president's residence when he said there were no money in the government coffers? This is an established member of parliament. I think he has been in parliament
established is a good word. The adjective used before I was going to question. Yes.
Respected.
When we call them honorable.
No, that's a term that again fits into that absurdity that we're talking about. These are just about the most dishonorable group of people you can actually ever come across. And it doesn't matter how kind you are when you're looking at them.
And that's the argument that the Wakil is advancing here, that there's so much dishonesty, even in the contributions of the members when they are standing to condemn the person who's been accused, because they're talking about them not doing their job and blaming it on that person not doing their job.
Yes.
Let's take a break. We'll continue this conversation shortly. 25 minutes to 10. Kenya's biggest conversation is hosting Francis Wanjiku. He's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. We are looking at the open case hearing. The various conversations here that Francis has brought up on how we are behaving as a people, whether there is a law for them, there's a law for us, whether there is fairness for them and fairness for us, whether there's a different yardstick that's used to measure all these behaviors. Let me tell you who has won the 3,000 shillings airtime courtesy of Safaricom Home Fiber. The name is Shadi Kiema. Sent a screenshot showing that they have renewed their Safaricom Home Fiber this morning. He just paid for Safaricom Home Fiber this morning. Here's a M-Pesa message. Yeah, thank you for that. And because you've done that, Shadi, 3,000 shillings will be coming to you as airtime, and you can use that to buy the all-in-one package. All right? So 3,000 shillings. Now you'll take that, you'll dial *544#. You'll go to Go Monthly, you'll go to All-in-One, you choose the 3,001, you see you'll have so much data, so much airtime, so many SMSs, so many minutes to call, and just a lot.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Do you want to live out your life with the utmost convenience? A way of life that is empowered with the necessary tools and solutions to live out your life effortlessly? Then wait no more. Download Loop today and enjoy the best mobile money and banking worlds through a simple platform that delivers payment, credit, and saving services, while at the same time offering personalized journeys and deals to complement your interests and needs. Why wait? Just Loop it. Tune in to the Situation Room every morning and Spice Drive from 3 to 7 p.m. every Monday to Friday and learn more about Loop.
Kenya, are you ready? Crank up the volume and buckle up in style. The Digger Motor Show 2024 is back. Talk of shiny, slick new models, accessories, and financial services from top brands. Side-by-side timeless classics that will make your heart race. Vintage or cutting edge, there is something here to get your engine revving. Get ready to test drive your automotive fantasies at the Sarit Center, happening from Thursday, October 24th to Sunday, October 27th, 2024. To participate, call Caroline on 0723-803-601 or email cnyandieka@standardmedia.co.ke. Digger Motor Show, the ultimate celebration of everything automotive.
The weather with SpiceFM.
How's it looking like? Well, it's warm and it's sunny. It's a beautiful Mazingira day. A day beautiful enough for you to get out, go plant a tree and enjoy yourself. It's partly sunny in Nairobi, currently 18. Sunny in Kakamega, 22. Sunny in Eldoret at 19. Sunny in Mombasa at 28. Sunny in Malindi at 30. In Kisumu, sunny at 25. In Nakuru, sunny at 19. In Nyeri, sunny at 19 as well. In Mogadishu, it's mostly sunny and windy at 29. Sunny in Lagos at 26. Cloudy in Addis Ababa at 17. Dar es Salaam is sunny at 27. Johannesburg is sunny at 20. It's sunny in Kinshasa at 25. Partly sunny in Kampala at 21. New York, clear skies tonight at 11. London, light rain in the morning at 10. Cloudy in Paris as well at 12. And Beijing is hot and sunny at 21.
There is nothing boring like slow internet. At home or on the go, reliable and fast internet speeds is a game changer. Safaricom Home Fiber is what you need. Safaricom has increased internet speeds at no extra cost. Tune into the Situation Room to learn more about Safaricom Home Fiber and stand the chance to win airtime.
Clear roads everywhere, so just get out, go and enjoy yourself, plant a tree. That's all we can tell you.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Doris has downloaded the Loop app.
Yay!
On your Play Store. Yeah?
Yay.
The process of subscription is very simple, isn't it?
Yeah, and by the way, for those who are saying, "Me kind of iPhone, so is it?" No, Apple Store got it. You can download it. It's actually a lifestyle, so you can't miss it on your iPhone. iPhoners, join the club. I don't know if City has it.
No, I don't have an iPhone.
It's not about the iPhone. If you have downloaded Loop,
The lifestyle.
I have just here.
Yes,
It's so easy.
I tried.
I just didn't take a picture of my ID yet.
As I said, I tried.
Did it work for you?
So you're going through the process, eh?
I am. Yeah.
Good,
I'm going
good.
through it.
So it'll ask you for your email address. It'll ask you for your number, for your email address. It'll send you a message so you can then confirm that phone is working. It'll send you an email link. It'll confirm that email is working.
Am I?
Yeah. So just go through it. It's a very, very simple thing.
So simple.
And once it does that, talk to CT. Atakuwekea pesa kwa your account.
Terms of service, terms and conditions apply. I agree to all.
Look for that section where they say the minimal amount it can receive.
Yes, the city will send you that minimum amount to just activate the account.
Remember, I don't go higher.
At a Gurumisha account. Loop is not an app. Loop is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right, so download it. City.
Yeah.
Anki told us earlier today, this thing of this Homa that we have, we go for medical checkup at Aga Khan.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
It's actually appropriate. You see, one of the things about having mini centers, what you've done, one lady by the name of Linda Ndongo actually brought that message home. That thing is not only near you, it is here. Okay? That is precisely what the Aga Khan Medical Services have done. They've brought medical services next to you, literally. You don't have to travel to Limuru Road. Just open your eyes.
Right there.
And look, and you'll find them. Believe me. You know, when you talk about for every stone you throw, oh my goodness, you'll be amazed at how many Aga Khan medical outlets you'll hit.
53.
That's a good one. Wakili Francis Wanjiko is still here with us this morning. Wakili, so you're saying, is there any remedy for the people if we feel that members of parliament are occupying themselves with things that they ought not to be occupying themselves with? That because of how members of parliament and parliament is behaving, then they seem to be getting away with not doing the job that they are supposed to be doing by engaging in absurdities like the impeachment of the deputy president. What's the recourse for the citizen?
It's difficult for the citizen to even know what parliament is doing, because there is no, once you tell me that there's no enough or sufficient public participation on what parliament is doing the whole year, like what is their legislative calendar, what do they plan to discuss for 2025, it's difficult for the citizens to engage them, because citizens engage with information. And a good example is, I'll just use this, either Chief or Shah or the impeachment as good examples. One of the things the High Court said was that there was no public sensitization on the Chief and the Shah. During the legislative process, there was public participation at the National Assembly and the one in Lodwar at the Senate. But there was no public sensitization. So how do you expect that people who are not informed to participate sufficiently?
What did the courts mean? Did they mean that after the laws had been passed, then the public should have been told about the laws? Or did they mean that that public participation that took place was not sufficient to sensitize the public? When the court said that there was no public sensitization before the rollout of SHA, what exactly do they mean?
Okay, I'll give you an example. When MPs table a bill, let's say it's a government bill, it is tabled on first reading, and it's committed to the committee.
Yeah.
Once it reaches the committee, this is a process that can even take a week or even 14 days. The committee publishes a notice of public participation, let's say 7 or 14, another 14 days, and tell you, Eric, tell your people to bring memorandums, to bring their suggestion. So, at what point, this is what the court was asking, at what point did you tell the people what this bill was about? Because the bill got to you, you took it, even before you said, first reading, there's no discussion. It's just the move of the bill saying, I have moved the bill, it's a government bill, it's about healthcare, put it on the floor of the house. So you publish the notice the next day on the newspaper and you tell people, submit your memorandum. So at what point did you tell the people, what was this bill about? One of the evidence that the government submitted in support of their case for public participation was an invitation to experts. They wrote a letter to experts, the Kenya Medical Body, KOTU, another one, Kenya Journalist Union, the people who can actually marshal up numbers and come and participate. But the court was asking then, what is the role of the people? If you're going to bring a letter inviting experts,
especially you are inviting professional bodies.
Yes, professional bodies, unions, Law Society of Kenya,
bodies,
the ones you can actually marshal up very quickly.
They're interest groups.
Yes, interest groups. So what is the role of the people? Because at the very least, you ought to even break down this law into Swahili. Sponsor 3 weeks fluent Kiswahili on the radios and the TV. Tell people this is the law we want you to discuss with us. So that is one of the things people are asking. How can we even question Parliament while we don't know what Parliament is doing?
Right.
Wow.
One of the questions that have been asked, and that's some sort of pushback on when these matters go to court and what the courts are doing. People have been asking, are the courts trying to legislate and play the role of Parliament? Because they are coming to sort of like start saying this is what your standing orders should say. That your standing orders should say that when a bill has been committed to the second reading, then the first thing that you ought to be doing is thinking about translating it, thinking about taking it out to all the constituencies across the country, thinking about engaging people with not just first of all asking for their opinion, but first of all educating them about it. It's like you are telling Parliament how it should be doing its work. And people are asking, why is the court now trying to take over the role of Parliament?
And even as you respond to that, the concern of, even I think Mutuse is a lawyer, I think he's got that, and a number of other members of Parliament with a legal background. Really, even if the courts would say you miss this part of legislation, these are sitting members of Parliament and bills go through drafting, How do they slip through? And you're told, hey, you guys, this missed this. I mean, even as you respond to Latiff's question, what are we doing with our other expertise before we even get into seats of representation?
But it's the theater of the absurd.
Again.
what we call the clowning, and it's unfortunate because I've been participating in a lot of this litigation in court and also from an advisory perspective. And one good example is the housing fund. The housing fund, it was passed really quickly, despite quite opposition and quite people warning government that the way you are going about this thing is not the right way. Can you give
the initial housing levy?
The initial housing levy, right. The initial one, the one that was in the finance bill of 2023. Most of us want government. Actually, even during public participation, we want government. The way you are doing this is not the right way. And also, there might be a problem with the process, but substantively, even the law itself has a problem. As usual, during the finance bill, government ignores you. and also Parliament ignores you. And this is one of the things that courts have not yet pointed out, but this is one of the problem with public participation in Parliament. When they call out for public participation, they don't ask the person who brought the bill to Parliament to come and defend the position of government. They don't do that. At the very least, they need to call the Treasury Minister and tell them, come and convince the people that your bill is very important, that it needs to be passed. What they do is they call all of you, ask for your opinions about the bill, and then once they have closed the public participation, they call the Treasury team and say, this is what the people have said. But it is a government bill. The government should be able to convince us that their bill is important for us to even tell our MPs, pass that law.
So you're saying that for there to be public participation, credible public participation, in this case, the mover of the bill ought to be conversing with the public who are supposed to be the consumers of that particular bill. And when there's that interaction, then you can say that it has been a public participation.
Yes, because it is important that people are engaged throughout the legislative process. And you brought it out rightly that why are the courts interfering with this mandate that has been given to Parliament? And for a long time, including in the UK, the Westminster model, there has been that kind of tug and war. That this is what Parliament has said and this is what the courts have said. Even I think you've seen it over the couple of years about the refugees going to Rwanda. A lot of government bills about the Brexit process. What does the Brexit? What is the legal process that the Brexit process should follow? This is a normal friction between arms of government. But where I think we are getting it wrong from a parliamentary point of view is that we do not learn the lessons. There's already a court order on Chief and Shah that this is where you messed up. This is what you did wrong. And the court even told them, I've given you 100 days, go and get it right from Parliament. What did the Ministry of Health say? For us to conduct sufficient public participation on the Chief and Shah, we need 100 million. So that is a lot of stress on the Kenyan public funds.
Did they justify why the figure was 100 million for this participation?
Is anything under Ruto justified when it comes to money?
No.
Yes.
No.
It's justified.
No.
I don't know. You don't listen. It is justified.
Let me tell you, City, and this is where we miss a lot of things. When it was the housing fund, the president, if you take back to your recordings, the president said the housing fund is not about housing. When you hosted the senior presidential advisors, Moses Kuria told you in this studio that Chief and Shah is not about health.
Did he?
Yes, I watched. He said this system that they have procured for 100 billion is not about health. It's about what the system can achieve for them in the long term. So when it comes to President...
Well, no, he says it goes beyond the health. He didn't say...
No. I will play that clip again. And
what of course he was bringing out is that, yes, it has the component of health. But even beyond the component of health, the potential for it to offer much more service.
Actually,
and the same for housing. Said it is houses, yes, decent living, but there is job opportunities. I said beyond.
And the job opportunities was not for people to work within the site. They even explained it. When you're talking about the process of building, supplying, they said there's a whole ecosystem that was going to benefit from this. So when you say they don't justify, it was justified.
Yeah, yes, the way it was justified, however, is telling Kenyans, when I do one thing, that is not, you're not looking at the right picture. The criticism I'm getting for bad policy, you're not looking at it the right way.
Just as you're not getting it.
You're not getting it. Look at it this other way. When you look at Chief and Shah, don't think about the bills that you're supposed to be paid for under the insurance.
And don't think of the suffering that you're undergoing even as we sort this thing out.
Yes.
Focus on the future.
Yes, the future is brighter. I have worked abroad. I have done this and that. And I have seen this system work outside the country. So that is where we are under this government.
What's wrong with that line of thinking?
That line of thinking tells you whatever your considerations are, those are not government's consideration. And that's the point during public participation of Rigathi Gachagua. We told, as I watched the public participation broadcasted by different media houses, and people were saying, why is this a priority? Why is this issue about Rigathi Gachagua is taking so much time, so much money? But I think an MP from Nakuru say, whatever issues you want to bring today, those are not issues of discussion. Let's talk about Rigathi Gachagua.
What's on the table now?
What's on the table now? Don't bring anything else. And you can imagine that's how we have to live for the next 3 years. That whatever issues that we bring to the table...
Actually, I'd like to stop you right there. We don't have to live that way. That's precisely the point.
We don't have to.
We do not have to. If someone wants to take us along that path, that is now their attempt at taking us or leading us up down the garden path. But we do not have to live that way. Neither do we have to accept what it is that we're being told.
You know, from an academic point, that is a good thing to say. But I can give you a real life example. My client, on behalf of my client, I wrote to the Minister of Health telling them I want information to do with this Shif and Shah shenanigans and the system that Safaricom has procured.
You call it shenanigans in the letter?
No. Of course not. I am a very respectful person. Professional. So I told them, give me information regarding this joint venture, give me this information regarding this system. And also my client was really worried about the humans testing system. How does this work? How will it affect people? Can you do a test run? Can you do a pilot? You know, that kind of information. Or if you have already done, can you give us the result? Give us access to the system. Let's see how the system works so that we are not exposed to a new system from the word go. My client, who is also an advocate, was visited by Subarus at his home. This is 2-3 weeks after the letter. He was visited by Subarus at his home. Myself, as a law firm, we have received kind of government intimidation on this matter. But the fact remains is that we have never received a response from the Minister of Health, the PS, nor Safaricom. So it's easy to say that Kenyans can choose to live in a different way, but the moment we even try to, because we are not asking for this information to oppose government. In fact, I would love if Shif and Shah works. I would love, but it was designed not to work. It was designed to be a tender system. So the unfortunate part is that Kenyans are very patriotic. A lot of Kenyans are patriotic, and if we're given the information, we might add our voice to the process.
How do we improve this public participation process? How do we improve on it? Because clearly, Parliament is struggling to see how best to actually conduct public participation. And you can see, let's just play the devil's advocate here. You can see from the side of Parliament, we are dealing with so many bills and motions on a daily basis, right? Per session, there are very many. If we say that we subject each of them through rigorous public participation, 290 constituencies, more than one meeting, it's going to be very costly and time-consuming. If we say that we select a broad representation of the people, interest groups, and say women, youth, persons with disability, professional organizations, and so on and so forth, this, at least you represent various thoughts. That may be easier and cheaper, but we are finding that also is having a problem. How do we improve on it so we don't have the courts having to do the job of Parliament?
That's a very good question, Latiff. And one of the things that we have to relook at is the standing orders. Are the standing orders serving the purpose and the objective of the Constitution? And you see what the Constitution provides is a very broad-based, what you said, it does not really specify what requires to be done. So we need to have a look, and our parliamentarians need to ask themselves, does this standing order serve the people? And one of the things is they think standing orders is meant to serve MPs. But that is not true. That's not the fact. The fact is that standing orders are meant to enable legislation. They're meant to enable oversight. So even during the oversight process, they need to be that public participation. And I think the other day you invited the minister, the cabinet secretary for health. And I think she had just come from appearing before a committee, before Parliament, or even maybe just after. And you could feel MPs struggling to understand how the Shif and Shah works. And my comment on social media was, these guys are struggling to understand this. And they passed a law. They passed 3 laws. Sorry, they passed 3 laws. They passed the SHIF law, they passed the digital agency law, and I think they passed one other law, the critical care law. So there are 3 laws to do with health. They passed all of them at the same time.
They passed a 4th one as well. It's the one on money being retained at the health facilities.
Oh, yes. And
I forgot what it's called, yes. But yeah, 4 pieces of legislation.
Yes, and above that, they have also been given the regulations. They have also been given the regulations by the MPs. So it shows that these the process in which they are undertaking under the standing orders are not even serving them themselves, because if they are struggling to understand, then it means the people down there, the Wanjikos, are also struggling to understand.
But I think we're going to close. But the public participation, I feel like you didn't answer how to improve that. You talked about standing orders, the relation. Maybe Wakili needs to come back, because there are people even talking about how efficient. How do I know this is the threshold of public participation?
Yeah.
But
how do we define public participation?
How do we define it? But yeah, I'll leave
come
it
again
that.
soon.
I will. Thank you.
You have just coined your way into an invitation.
Let me just make last one comment, and I would like to appreciate all of you, and most likely because it was Customer Service Week, I just want to say the way your staff here at Standard Group received me, it was wonderful.
Aww.
And all the way from the gate to the staff at the reception, and I would like to wish all of them happy Customer Week.
Mwah.
Come again. Wakili Francis Wanjiko has been our guest advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. Go, let's green our country. It's 10 a.m. Happy Mazingira Day.
It's now 10 o'clock with Safaricom. Go monthly with an all-in-one bundle and enjoy convenience and value with Safaricom.